Welcome, welcome. Sorry about that. It's paying too much attention to the chat. I basically said welcome about 100 times. And I said, how's everybody doing today? I had to fix my hair a little bit. Welcome men, ladies, vaginas. All of the above. Feels like forever since I had a stream on. You look like you have a little pain behind those eyes. You know what, you fucking vegan? Starting early today with me, and I'm not going to listen to this bullshit, all right? You sit back, Jason Joseph. Otherwise, I'm taking that spanner back. Listen to all the people in the chat. 5 years of veganism, 5 years of malnourishment. All right? Go eat your fucking lentils, all right? You look a little sad. Oh my goodness. As Bobby said, we have 3 dislikes before the stream even started. So that's great. We have a lot of vegan fans, guys. That's just the bottom line. They love the channel. We have vegans coming out of the woodworks trying to challenge the fucking king, the vegan assassin. Get a grip, people. You are not on this level. We had Thunder Bay Trainer, a.k.a. Logan Blake, a.k.a. not vegan anymore, troll-ass channel. I'm sure he's going to tune in today because he claims he doesn't know who Drew Morgan is. That's hilarious. He has 13,000 subscribers. I have under 5. And once I told him the amount of minutes viewed on this channel, he shut the fuck up. He said, "You only have 4,000 subscribers." I probably have 5 times, maybe 10 times the amount of minutes viewed as he has, with half the subscribers. And I put out half the content. Anyways, we'll get into that later. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're doing well. Feels like forever since I've had a guest on the show. It's been a full week since I've had Jason. This weekend, I did a little extra bonus stream from the beach, which was really fun. I hope you guys caught that one. We're going to do more with the on-location streaming soon, I'm sure. That was like a test run, basically. And I'm really stoked to do more of that in the future. But I hope everyone is doing well. Of course, today we have Bobby's perspective on the channel. He's a longtime homie in the vegan community. And we've been on each other's channels about 3 or 4 times. So there is content out there with us. But me and Bobby, you know, we are peas in a pod. Nope. Vegan. Peanut butter and jelly. Nope. Vegan. I don't know. What's the meat name for that? Autism the Hedgehog. Oh, you're going to catch a ban real quick. I already know you're a pain in the ass. Actually, you know, let's just ban you right now. Our fucking tolerance for dumb-ass vegans today is very low. Very low. Hope you guys caught the recent video from Vegan Deterioration. She's been pumping out hella content. And her stuff is so good, man. Autism the Hedgehog says, kill yourself. See, this is the vegan. Take a good look, guys. Take a good look. You see, he thought he was getting banned. And then he just vomits all over the keyboard. And that's what vegan ideology, mental horsepower looks like right there, guys. Take a good look. That's what we're seeing. There we go. So today we've got Bobby, like I said. I'm sure we'll get into some topics. We're going to obviously engage the audience as much as possible. Me and Bobby have interviewed each other multiple times. We don't need to go over all the little details, so I'm sure we're going to get into a lot of chat interaction, I hope. And we are also going to just catch up, see exactly where we are at with the whole vegan hating movement. And Bobby's making some crazy gains. I can't wait to talk to him about that. Man, I had like a few topics. I should have written them down. Things always pop up like throughout the day whenever I'm going to have a new guest on the show. And then I try and write them down as much as possible. Guys, so this is my little notepad that I use. These are video ideas from when I was vegan. Should I read some of these? Soap on Slope has a date with a vegan. Doesn't know you're carnivore. Oh boy. Hey, that's just cut that one. That's a wrap. That is a wrap. There's no chance, man. Bobby and Drew won't go vegan because they are afraid to lose their period. Thank you, Race Lover. You are also above, or sorry, not above. You are also below average intelligence. Welcome to the channel. I know you're a fan. Or welcome back to the channel, I should say. I like the anti-Drew Morg fan club that we have going on. Mattia says, when I did a nutritarian diet like Furman recommends, I was underweight as fuck because I couldn't eat enough calories and everything made me bloated for days, so I had to fast. Yeah, I don't know if you guys caught it, but Ted Carr is actually going on a raw fruit fast soon. Apparently, the raw vegan fruitarian diet wasn't good enough. Now he needs to fast from his perfect diet. No hate to Ted. I actually like Ted, despite how I may talk about Ted. But Ted, as an online personality, he fucking boils my blood sometimes. Him and Jackson both annoy me in their own way. They always have. And as a person, like if you're spending time with these guys in real life, they're fine. But online, I don't like their personalities. And I told Ted the other day, he posted a video, the most recent one where he's talking about his fast that he's going to do. And his eyes are, you could just tell, man, like I leave a comment saying, "Hey Ted, your eyes, man. Like, dude, they're telling the story here, buddy. Like, what's going on there?" Hey, Wilburn Life, thank you. Bobby's a little extreme. Let's be honest. He needs to chill like Drew Morg. I don't think I chill that hard. Race Lever says, far above your intelligence. And then he retracted it. Why did you do that? Bobby, I am so sad. I'm obsessed with vegans. Can you, where is it? Is it my eyes? Are my eyes starting to fill out yet from the veganism? Have I recovered? Vegan deterioration, what do you think? Maybe I should get my my vegan face on. Hey guys. Am I vegan yet? Okay. Autism the Hedgehog. You are useless. Goodbye. Salome, welcome. Welcome, everybody. Taylor said, Drew, did you notice you had... I'm losing people's comments. The chat is going nuts right now. You guys, just calm down a little bit, all right? Did you notice you had more anxiety and depression as a vegan? No, I did not. I am very transparent and honest about the pros and the cons of both. I'm not attached to any fucking diet. Of course, when I was vegan, I was relatively attached to the diet. I definitely defended it. I thought it was doing more for me than it really was. And a good example of that is I actually had this woman message me yesterday on Instagram, and she's been a vegan for 8 years. She's actually a dietitian. And she said that she has to keep an open mind because she's a dietitian. So she has to, you know, make recommendations to people based on what works and what the science says, not based on her vegan beliefs, which she's, by the way, she's vegan for health and for the environment, not for the animals. So what she told me was she went to a restaurant the other day and she tried out a burger, a grass-fed beef burger. And she said that she was shocked to find that she didn't get sick from it. And again, this is like tying into being attached to a diet because like we're attached to these ideas about what vegans say online and what people say online. And you got, well, I don't want to name names, but you have relatively famous YouTubers who are promoting the vegan diet who say that they would get sick if they even had like a morsel of meat. And there's people believing that if you go a few years without animal foods in your system, that you're going to get sick when you eat animal foods. So it's like further putting this fear in people's minds about consuming animal foods again. Guys, your fucking body was designed from the ground up to eat these things. You could go 50 years and then eat meat and you're going to be just fine. Trust me. Is Bobby playing around with when he speaks, or is that the real voice? Just wondering. Absolutely not. That Bobby is the voice of God. He has actually, when Morgan Freeman dies, Bobby is going to be input as the new voice in all of the Jap animes and Batman movies, actually. So he's going to be replacing him, and, you know, it's just a God-given talent, God-given gift. Race Lever. Now he's attached to telling lies that are harmful to the world. What have I ever said that is a lie? That is a lie. You will never, ever, 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 ever be able to prove that I have lied about anything. You can say I'm wrong. You can make a case for that. But Drew Morgan is not a motherfucking liar. Do not ever call me a liar. I will ban you if you call me a liar. Because I'll call you an idiot. Designed from the ground up, LMAO, go use your only your body to kill a bull for your steak, like all real animals designed to would. Okay, let's just knock this one out first, guys, right? So we have vegans that say you need to, without any tools, go kill an animal with your hands and with your teeth. All right. So vegans, without any tools, I want to see you go defend yourself against animals that are coming to steal your crops. that you harvest with no tools, by the way. So harvest and plant foods with no tools. Then I want to see you harvest those foods. I'd like to see you process soybeans. I'd like to see you process lentils and chop down a banana tree. I'm sure you've never even come into contact with a banana tree. You have no idea what these things actually look like in the wild. They don't exist in the wild because first you have to hybridize the plants and then plant them. Then pigs and other animals come to steal your food. And then you're going to just say, shoo away, piggy, go away. No. Right? So I want to see you do all of this with no tools. I want to see you get all of your calories, all of your protein, all of your B12. Then we can talk. If you can do that, then we can talk. All right? Because I am sure that I could very easily grab a chicken, rip its head off, throw it in a fire, and eat it. Or even eat it raw if I really needed to. He still doesn't understand that he's the one that said from the ground up, not me. Okay, well, then you need to make a point that's actually going to be applicable to your shitty diet that is allegedly from the ground up. Literally, you think you're a plant. You think you grew from the ground up like a plant, therefore needing plant foods. No, it's not how it works. We don't need plant foods. Again, you do not understand how things grow in nature. You wouldn't even be able to grab a banana or open a coconut without a tool. You are an idiot. Race lover, you are an absolute moron. Prove me wrong. You can't. Who do we got in here today? Bobby said, I tried to make my voice sound more feminine with soy. It failed. I wonder if we can do some voice analysis on Bobby's tone when he was coming off a juice fast. What if we found that like there was literally a 10% octave loss when Bobby was vegan? Wouldn't that be hilarious? And then Bobby goes back to the meat. Hello, my name is Bobby. And if you're new, this is my channel. Today, we're going to talk about let's see. David Moresco says, according to their logic, I suppose chimps aren't meant to eat termites because they make tools from sticks to attract it from... I know. Like chimps and birds use tools, but humans aren't allowed to use tools. How does that make any sense? And again, vegans use tools to fucking harvest every single plant that they eat. So I don't understand what their argument is. There's like the dumbest arguments ever. Clown Mazard says, what do you think about plant-based news releasing video about low-fat diets being harmful? Basically going against all these plant-based doctors they interviewed. That's interesting. I haven't heard anything about that. But as my extensive vegan experience has shown me, the more low-fat that people go, especially women, it's bad. I mean, I know chicks that were eating like 5% fat, especially in the early raw till 4 days. And those are the ones that typically lost their periods and had an issue. Yeah, Matia says, you can open a coconut with no tools, and there are videos online, but you need to be strong as F and know the techniques. Yeah, I mean, you could probably take a coconut, bash it over a rock. I've watched Life Regenerator do it one time, but it took him like 20 or 30 minutes to open a damn coconut. Is that energy efficient? Are you going to actually be able to get all of your calories that way? No. Not possible. Although I could, basically like kill a small animal and feed my entire family for a couple days with very minimal effort. Like a small pig, man, they're so dumb. Like I'm not a professional spear thrower, but all I need is a sharp stick, and I could definitely nail a pig and take one out and feed my family. 100%. The ego that you have to point out the ego in the title is ridiculous. I think Nicole's on my team. Shout out to you, Nicole Brower. Yeah, Devin, watch this with the kids. Run errands. This is what I want. This is why I like to do the weekday streams. This is for the people at work. This is for the people with their kids. This is for the people who are just doing normal shit stuff. Sorry, children. And we can entertain you. And I give you a nice long stream. Hopefully it just eats 3 hours out of your day, and then you just get to hang out and enjoy. Race Lover says, it was you who said from the ground up, how are you all this slow? That is so stupid. Yes, from the ground up. From our stomach acid to our digestive system to our teeth to our inability to deal with sugar on our teeth. You would rot your teeth out in like 3 months on a vegan diet if you didn't brush your teeth every day. Duge Hick says, do you ever consume raw milk kefir or any raw milk? Yeah, I do. It's very expensive, though. I love raw milk, man. Milk is freaking delicious. Milk is so good. I've always loved milk. And then when I went vegan, I convinced myself that by cutting dairy out the first few days that I had like a cleaner system. And, you know, what I will say is I think that milk does actually give me a little tiny bit of skin, like a very small amount of maybe like body pimples on my back that I wouldn't normally have. Because when I'm vegan and when I'm not consuming milk, I actually have extremely smooth skin on my back and on like the back of my arms. But when I'm drinking a lot of milk, I've noticed that I actually have a little bit more breakouts in those areas. It's not bad. Like, it's not enough to make me stop at all, but it's a thing. So, you know. And as Bobby pointed out, there is some additional smell going on with the carnivore diet or eating meat compared to a vegan diet. However, as a vegan, it's not like you have no smell. So it's like, it's just a little bit worse. Mommy's milk is for babies. Wean yourself off of your mother's milk like a real man. Race lover. You would be crushed by meat-eating community. Inability to reproduce. Weak. Eyeballs sinking in the back of your head. Just get the fuck out of here, man. Talk is cheap. Shut the fuck up. Come say something. Talk is cheap. Fucking think I'm talking? Fucking loser. Sit out. Sit out and time out. Let's invite Bobby to the chat, guys. Ooh, Jack Hunter. Usain Bolt refeeding on chicken nuggets and setting world records. Jack Hunter says, vegan girls hoo-ha tastes like crap, bruh. Jack, don't go downtown when it smells fishy, if you know what I'm saying. But I agree with you. I've seen that. It's not just on vegan women. It does happen on other people. Typically the high carbers, people who are alcoholics, drink a lot of alcohol, a lot of sugary drinks. But yeah, man. I'd say that's a more prominent issue in the vegan community than it is in the meat-eating community, from what I've seen. So that sucks for vegan girls. Yeah, it does suck. It's a lifestyle, right? You gotta just deal with it. So funny how something so simple like that, you know, bad smelling genital area, and then the vegans come through and they say that there's keto crotch. Like, no, this is you guys. You guys have that, not us. What the hell are you talking about? When I'm strictly zero carb, my body odor is almost non-existent. I don't even need deodorant. As soon as I add carbs, fibers, yeah, definitely not the case with me. I distinctly remember when I was eating zero carb, I definitely still had some body odor. I was living in Hawaii at the time, so it's real sweaty and hot there. Like I said, I didn't have zero body odor as a vegan. It's not like it got much worse, but it was definitely still there. Bobby, if you're in the chat, I need your email address. I can't find you. Bobby's perspective. Bobby Cristo. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to email Bobby right now, and I somehow don't have his... I don't have his email. Bobby, message me. Yeah, message me on Hangouts, and then I'll send you the link. Bobby is cool as fook. You are right, man. Strong anecdote towards carnivory? Message me on Instagram if you want to have a chitsy chat. At Drew Morg, of course. Okay, there we go. I found Bobby. All right, guys. Let's see if that works. Do you have an email? I don't use social media. Yeah, you can email me at... Let me find one that I want to give out. You can message me at drewjmorgan@hotmail.com. Use that one. Frederico Coelho. Good to see you, buddy. My Portuguese friend. Did it work? No work? Bobby, I'm sending you the link right now. I'm not sure if it's not allowing this. I may have to just call him manually. Frederico's getting good results, guys. Frederico went carnivore like a month and a half. Not carnivore, but eating a lot more. Okay, let me see this. Google Hangouts is so janky, guys. Welcome, Mark Busquet. I saw you earlier saying what's up. Drew, make a tutorial how to look as handsome as you. Thank you, So Dark. I have no idea how to do that. I was born this way, and trust me, it doesn't work as good as you think. Oh, you know what? I need to make an update about... hey, thanks for talking about the poo, Goji Man Sunburn. I need to actually make an update on the maracas. The Candida supplement. Andrew Abbott, went carnivore, and he says, you're going to be amazed. Eyebrows, lashes, hair on body is all thicker and longer. Eyes are no longer looking dead, and my wrists are getting thick as fuck without much exercise. Glad to hear that. Oh, here we go. I think we got Bobby now. Oh, we got him. Bobby? Bobby, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Beautiful. Okay, so you're
Perfect.
a little... There we go. I think I got you now. I'm going to pull you in. Guys,
Yep.
without further ado, we have Bobby. Okay.
All right, guys.
Oh,
Drew,
right,
I have
guys.
to do this.
You do? Okay, go.
I did it already. All right, guys. Welcome back to Drew Morgan's live stream.
If you're new here,
Enough.
my name is Drew, and this is Bobby.
That's it. That's it. Hey, do I have good connection, man? My video is lacking. As always, I have all kinds of technical difficulties. I hope it is good enough.
I think it's good enough. I think good enough is the... I mean, we
Sweet.
were both vegan, so good enough, you know? Good enough. We are used to this good enough mindset. So, all right. So, guys, for those of you that don't know, this is Bobby Ristoff as from Bobby's perspective. He needs no intro around here. Bobby and I both went carnivore somewhere around the same time, roughly getting on 9 or 10 months ago. It's like almost like we weren't vegan anymore. And then
Pretty much, yeah.
we both experienced a lot of the same difficulties and issues on the vegan diet. And we both came to some agreements. We did interviews with each other before we went carnivore. We were both vegan when we did our first interview together. Then I was carnivore and Bobby was vegan still. And then we did another one, of course, since then, as we're both carnivore. And then now we're doing a long-term follow-up. Bobby's channel's blown up. My channel's starting to get its little legs under itself. And here we are. We're the kings, the absolute kings, the top of the mountain in terms of the ex-vegans who are now speaking out against the vegan diet in all ways possible. And we are trying to change the game here, showing what the vegan diet did, what the carnivore diet / high animal consumption diet. Neither Bobby or myself is a 100% strict carnivore. And here we are. So, Bobby, did I miss anything there?
Nope.
Okay, so...
No, I think that was definitely an in-depth explanation. Yeah.
So what should we
yeah, there was always a little
today?
delay here with the audio. Excuse me for that. I will just have to keep on talking over you. Otherwise, I always have this 3-second delay.
Okay.
Yeah, as you said already, I think we're the best example of how to proficiently fail at a vegan diet. I think that's what the vegans would say. But happily so. I think that your life and my life hasn't ever been better in the last couple of years where we were vegan. Therefore, on our page, we only saw improvements. Therefore, we talked about those topics. I say we can dive into certain topics that are in the current zeitgeist. As you already saw in the chat, some people talked about plant-based news. Now, all of a sudden, blaming low-fat diets or whatnot. There's a lot of drama going on as always. We can just pick up on the current zeitgeist and go from there. Just roll.
Beautiful. I love it. So I think the reason why we're going to treat this a little differently than a standard interview that I do is, like, Bobby and I are both content creators. We're both very much up on the current, like you said, the zeitgeist, what's currently in the mindset of everybody. And it's always slowly evolving one way or another. Like, you had the low fat thing as a craze 5 years ago. And then now you've got huge channels like Plant-Based News, who has freaking interviewed several doctors at this point saying that high carb is the way to go. And then now all of a sudden it's not the way to go. So I haven't seen any of his material on that. So you got to fill me in, man. I don't know.
No, I didn't check much of that either. To be honest, at the moment, I'm spending 90% of my time outside, which is quite refreshing. Honestly, back in the day or a couple of months and weeks back, I would always answer all of my viewers' comments and I would be concerned about replying to everything, checking on the newest data. Now I spend my time, as I said, in nature. I was hiking here. I am surrounded by all kinds of farm animals, cows, dogs, chickens, ducks, and whatnot. And tomorrow we're actually going to go and slaughter a pig. And of course, I'm going to film it. I do not know how YouTube will let me publish it or not, or maybe the vegans will mass flag my channel. But I say, as a conscious carnivore, if you want to call it that way, even though we do not like to label ourselves, it is good to expose yourself to where your food is coming from. So this is what I've been concerned more lately, and of course, eating a ton of meat.
What makes you
But
so
talking about the subject of the low fat diet, yeah,
what makes you
I
so
just want to
interested
extend
about
a
the
little bit on the low fat.
Okay, we got the delay going here. I see. But let's
We do.
why are you so interested in where your food's coming from? Like what does that mean to you, and what like do you notice any shifts in yourself when you're more concerned with that, or you're getting better quality, or what's the deal?
Yeah, for me, it was always about being congruent with myself and with my food choices. And therefore, I know that it is pretty easy to say as a vegan that we just started eating meat again, and that's it. Now I go to the supermarket, I grab my meat, and I don't think about it. Yeah, but that's not the way. Actually, I'm preparing to become a hunter. As I said, I'm going to witness my first slaughter and go from there. I want to slaughter chickens maybe in 2 weeks' time. So I personally find it very, very important to become congruent with my food choices. But I do not say that everybody has to do that. Many people have different perspectives and, of course, skill sets. So therefore, somebody will be good at gaming, another one will be good at programming, another one will be good at slaughtering, hunting, and whatnot. But I want to have that experience at least once to see how it truly feels. You could say it is an egoistical approach, maybe somewhat, but then in the end, what isn't egoistical? Even being a vegan is an appeal to your own ego because you feel righteous, even though you think you do it for the greater good. As we already exposed, as a vegan, you're killing more animals. So therefore, it is all in the end an appeal to your own ego, a satisfaction of yourself.
I'm with that. So, you're about to go into something regarding I believe the zeitgeist, the current zeitgeist, the low fat stuff.
Yeah. Now I just want to touch on that briefly because I see that progression now with plant based news understanding that obviously low fat diets are detrimental to our health. 100%. Everybody knows that nowadays, and they are catching up with it. But pretty soon they will have to realize as well that plants do not deliver any real fats. They will have to understand that plants only deliver essential oils. And once that is understood, of course, there will be no argument left for veganism because we are talking about essential fatty acids that can be only found in animal fats and not in plant materials. Once that shift has been done, yeah, plant-based news will truly be plant-based news and for sure not vegan.
Well, yeah, it's almost like I said for a long time. I think that Klaus is, when he does these interviews, he's like he's asking these questions partly for himself and also partly for his audience. And then like when these doctors are giving him answers, he's like, like he seems very dissatisfied with the responses he gets all the time. And you know that guy's not going to be vegan forever. You know, most of these people aren't going to be vegan forever. Like I always talk about the trio, like John Venus, Derek Simnett, and Brian Turner. Like which one of them is going to break first? And it's going to be great because it's not going to do anything. Like I'm sure that 10 more of those guys will pop up after one of them breaks because there's always going to be somebody else that's ready to take the check for the Vivo life. But at the same time, like Hench Herbivore just takes in and swoops all their endorsements, doesn't he? He's got the ethics shirt. He's got the Vivo Live. Oh my God. He's the main
when
speaker.
When it comes down to animal ethics, of course, man. But when it comes down to human ethics or actually being an honest man, to be true to your word and to fuck over your friends like he did with Tim Sheaf, he's very proficient at that. He's an expert at fucking over his own friends for money.
Very. Like, I haven't seen a hostile takeover like that blatant in such a long time. You would think he had a personal issue with Tim, the way that all went down. It's crazy how he literally just took over that dude's slot, wore his merchandise in his company that he built, and then talk shit on him the whole way. And then all the previous friends from the previous company allowed this to happen on top of all that. That's insane. Anyway.
Of course. Of course, man. They
I
really
don't know
do
much
not give
about
a fuck at all. In the vegan community, you know it yourself. It was always about just filling that void of a certain persona that is needed. The fitness vegan, the whole food vegan, the raw vegan, whatever, you name it. And when they see there is a spot freeing up, they jump on it, man, like hyenas. They don't give a shit about their friends.
Oh,
Little weasels.
100%. Weasels, man. Weasels. See, me and Bobby, you know, we have smiles on our faces. Like our lives are good. Like nothing crazy in my life. I don't have tons of money coming in. I don't have like, you know, I have good people in my life. I'm very happy. I'm very thankful. I love this YouTube stuff. I'm having a good time. But it's almost like, and I think you probably agree with this, is like we are grateful for this YouTube thing that we have going on, but at the same time, we're also thirsting for more. Like I feel ready to go outside and do things again, picking up old hobbies, connecting with people that I haven't connected with in a long time, just doing normal people stuff, and it feels good to do that again. Whereas like as a vegan, I was like so concerned with connecting with people in that thing to like somehow give me the answers I was seeking to just feel better and heal and all this stuff, you know? And I wanted to talk to you. Actually, okay, this does remind me of one of the topics I want to talk about, but if you have anything to add to that, I'm all ears.
No, 100%, man. I can relate to that, obviously. And it's quite funny, you know, you said doing people stuff. Now I came back here to Macedonia after 5 years, and I see my cousins, my family members, uncles, and those people, they found out about my YouTube channel, of course, you know, and this is the only time they saw me as a vegan. As I said, I've been vegan for 4 years, and I've been traveling for 5, right? So 4 years as a vegan, they haven't seen anything on those lines. But they made sure to tell me,
So what they
made sure to tell me, now go.
Well, what do they think about the way you looked, your transition? I'm sure you're about to say that.
Yeah, exactly. Because they made sure to tell me that, especially those pictures of me when I was a fruitarian and raw vegan, they used those pictures to scare the little kids in the village. They said, if you don't eat your meat, you're going to look like this.
Okay, I really want to talk about this. I want to talk about the expansion of this, because one of the things that you're being criticized for all the time, especially by Vegan Gains, which vegans do this. Okay.
He loves me.
Let me, yeah, he does. He's made a 2-part series about you back to back about the worst of the ex-vegan industry. Congratulations for making it to the
thank you very much.
to the worst of the fitness industry. So, all right, everybody's criticizing you for using your worst vegan pictures to compare to your now meat body, and they're all saying, "Hey, Bobby, this is dishonest because you still looked relatively good, or pretty much as good as you do now as a vegan." But what I want to talk about right here is me and Bobby. You guys need to understand, Bobby and I have been talking behind the scenes for probably 3 years now. When I was early days Hawaii, and I found out about Bobby doing raw veganism at that time, and I was also curious about it too. And I saw Bobby's pictures, and I was like, okay, this Jack dude is doing raw veganism. He's one of the only, like, I had to search the internet to find somebody who was getting the results Bobby was getting, okay? Now, granted, he had amazing results, and he was one of the only ones doing it. But when I spoke to Bobby about this, even back then, you were talking about the struggles. And then since then, we've talked about it. I was like, Bobby, you know, you actually had amazing results even as a raw vegan. Like, what allowed you to get those results? How come you were able to be so much more jacked than like the average vegan? Because people would be even meat eaters would be stoked to have Bobby's vegan results, if that makes sense. And then you told me, you were like, dude, yeah, I had those results, but the amount of effort I had to put in to achieve that was insane. Like you said, you were doing cardio every morning for like several hours. I mean, you lived a full-on bodybuilder lifestyle to get results which you would personally consider average for your body, because we know what meat does in your body, because you used to eat several hundred grams of meat a day, and you were fucking super huge, right? So let's talk about
Right.
that a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about that. I will talk about that, and then before we forget about it, I want to clarify again for everybody that is listening here what is going on with those pictures, the before and after vegan to carnivore transformation pictures about the vegan bodybuilding results. Yes, as I said, I had to put in tremendous amounts of work. But I'm not saying that in order for you to tell me, yeah, that guy is just lazy and now he wants to get the meat gains and work less. That is not it. The amount of work that I had to put in damaged my body permanently almost. Do you understand this? In order to stay in shape with that carbohydrate intake, I had to do cardio up to 2 hours every morning. And that is not normal and not sustainable. Then I had to work out at least 6 times per week. And believe me, I'm a personal trainer. I tried out every approach 4 times per week, 3 times per week. As a vegan, it had to be 6 times per week. So therefore, in order to get that amount of gains, which on that note are a memory effect, because I used to be even bigger beforehand, I had to literally kill myself working out. And through that, I required all kinds of injuries later on. So therefore, that is not something that anybody could keep up longer than half a year. So now, coming back to the meat versus vegan pictures and videos that people like Vegan Gains blame me for. As I already said in my video, yes, of course I picked the worst picture and the best picture. Wow, I guess I'm the only person on the internet that has ever done something on
John
those
Venus
lines.
does that all the time, by the way. He does that all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, of course. It's a before and after picture. It is normal. It's called Instagram. It's called presenting your point. This is what we do. This is what magazines have been doing for fucking decades. This is how it goes. Deal with it. It's the internet.
Right.
But did I make myself clear afterwards? Did I explain everything? Of course. I posted picture. Sure, there's a little bit of shock value to it on Instagram. And then I link to my channel where, guess what? I explain everything in depth. Simple.
Yeah, there's no like attempted dishonesty or avoiding the question regarding that. Like I know that you've given this explanation several times and you even do it in a video, but people are still having issues with it. But they don't have any issue when John Venus posts a side-by-side picture that says meat and it's like him the day he started working out, which he still looks good, by the way. And then he posts vegan and he's all thick with his large current body, which by the way, he's like deviates away from that. He uses pictures, from a couple days a year where he's in shape because he's not always looking like that. So it's dishonest right there. But hey, people who are in the fitness industry understand this, but regular people, or at least the vegan community, they're so disconnected from like fitness and health and reality. They just don't get it. They're like, what? You're deceiving people? It's like, dude, not only are you not deceiving people, but you're telling people that this is what you're doing. You're posting a shock value picture on purpose. And
exactly.
They just can't wrap their heads around the fact that their dream body would be like your post juice fast body. And they feel like they would say you're being greedy because you want more gains than that, on top of all the other bullshit that they say. So it's just it's one of those dumb things.
Yeah, but the thing is, I said that before as well. People do not understand how you feel in that moment. And you, Drew, man, we talked on the phone. Bro, I will never forget me being in Thailand, being with you on Instagram, voicemails and whatnot, and asking you, should we do it? And you would tell me, fuck it, bro, come on, let's just do the carnivore thing. And I couldn't. I was still clinging on to that vegan label. And I was feeling miserable for 8 months straight, diarrhea and everything. So who cares if I look good? That's what I'm saying. In the end, somebody sees the picture on Instagram, tells you look good. I couldn't care less if a vegan thinks that I look good. How did you feel? And nobody can tell you about your subjective experience. That is impossible.
Yeah, and we're just rehashing old stuff here, but I do like to, for anybody who's not aware, like you did do all the stool sample tests, the blood sample tests in Thailand because you thought you were having issues with the water. And I was like, bro, my digestion's feeling really good over here on this carnivore diet. and you're like, nah, you're eating white rice and protein powder to maintain your gains. Like, of course, normal vegans are like, why didn't you just eat a normal balanced vegan diet? Guys, that doesn't exist. That doesn't exist. Fuck off.
It doesn't exist. Yeah,
All right.
that's very true.
So,
Yeah, there is no such thing. It's hilarious. If you do it
yeah,
raw, we talked about this. You do it wrong. They will always tell you about a sensible vegan diet. A sensible. Yeah, what is a sensible vegan diet? There is no blueprint for this shit.
there's
Now, as
no
you said
blueprint.
already, plant-based news is blaming the low-fat diets. Up until now, it was the gold standard. So,
Right.
what is a real vegan diet? There is no such thing, man. How you do it wrong. You supplement. Oh, okay. Now you supplement too much. You don't supplement. Of course, you're an idiot because you do not supplement. Every time you do it wrong, there is no possible way.
Oh man. Yeah, the amount, like, I bet you we could probably make a hilarious video just going through the negative comments that we get on our channels from people writing dumb shit. Man, yeah. Some of the comments are just so bad. Like, people are so ill-informed they're just out of touch. They really are. And it's usually always a vegan who's been vegan for 1 to 3 years. Because I get and I'm sure you get the same messages in the DMs on Instagram. Like the homie says, it goes down in the DM. Guys, we have vegans and ex-vegans on a daily basis messaging us, 5+ year vegans all the time, saying, hey, I tried meat the other day, like it wasn't as bad as I thought. Hey, I am full carnivore now for a couple weeks and like my digestion feels good. I'm still like, it's working so well that they're actually confused and don't know how to explain it. But they don't understand diet isn't something that we need to or should need to explain. Like, all animals in nature don't take a nutrition course on how to consume their natural diet. They just do it. And it should be that way for humans, but we've complicated things. We're too damn smart for ourselves. And of course, there's people who want to make money and stuff like that and marketing and all this stuff that's created, like, there's no, we shouldn't have to go to school to know what to eat. We should be able to just eat. That feels good. Eat more of that. Done.
Yeah, it is about unlearning and not learning. If you put an animal like us into this unnatural environment, of course, you will have to rewire again and understand where you're actually coming from. If you want to try to understand how to eat in this artificial environment, you will get even more confusion. That is just normal because you get presented with all kinds of conflicting information. If you would find yourself on that deserted island, as we always hear in that vegan scenario, then you would know what to eat. Of course, you would start fishing or whatnot. It's normal. Then you would find back to your senses. But to find truth in an artificial environment, looking for information on the internet, you will get even more confused. That is just normal. You cannot expect that of a human.
So you and I both did long-term juice fasts, 30+ days each, if I'm not mistaken. This puts us in an elite vegan category of people who have done that. Most people in the world have not, even raw vegans and vegans haven't done a 30+ day juice fast. This is fucking hardcore, guys. So let's talk about our experiences on that. Did you gain anything positive from the juice fast? Is there anything to gain that's positive from it?
Aside from the experience itself and that it was a valuable learning lesson, no. If we talk about physical benefits, zero, not at all. Because the promise, as you already know, was the serpent would come out of your asshole and you would get cleansed forever. You would reset your body and whatnot. All of that never happened, of course. It was all false promises. So, therefore, if anything, it further damaged my physical body. But yet again, nothing that you do in life is in vain. You will always learn something of it. Therefore, now we can talk about it and make qualified decisions. That being said, how would you expect to juice certain plants that are high in oxalates, drink them without fiber even, and expect them to detoxify you? It's kind of ridiculous. Now looking back, I'm wondering why we did that in the first place. But this is how far you will get pushed if you're not happy with your current diet and if you experience issues. But we already know the story, man. We already explained why we went from cooked to raw, so on and so forth. The vegans will never believe that because they still haven't experienced it. But at one point, their diet will fail too. And then we will embrace them with open arms. It is normal.
Yeah, and I'm getting a comment here from Bill Gates. He says, perhaps doing a 30-day juice fast is dumb and doesn't represent eating a plant-based diet, not to mention veganism is an ideology.
Exactly.
Again, here's another guy who says, plant-based is not the same as veganism, whatever. You just arguing semantics there. And then he said, what you did is just idiotic. But just like you said there is, we are trying to regain health that we're actively losing. Like when you and I were both vegan and we were going into that juice fast, like we were losing ground on our health and performance. We were trying to get it back by doing a juice fast. It wasn't like we were feeling amazing and then try to take it to the next level. We weren't being greedy with our performance and health. We were trying to inch back the ground that we were losing. And we thought that would help us because, hey, the vegan diet is fucking stupid in the first place if you go talk to a real nutritionist. So this is what's really funny to me is these nutritionists, and God bless Goji, man. I know he's a good guy these days, but his own.
I don't know about that. I do not subscribe to that idea.
Okay, me neither. So, but his own school, his own nutrition school, doesn't teach a vegan diet as the number one thing. So, he's leaning on his credibility and his authority as a master's degree in nutrition. Yet his own school doesn't teach a vegan diet. So what should we actually follow here? The guy every vegan is self-cooking, home brewing their own fucking formula, guys. Every single vegan is trying to create their own formula. There's no, like you said, there's no book on this that's super solid.
Yeah, of course not. Because again, there is no blueprint for a vegan diet. And a vegan diet will by default always be deficient, starting with vitamin B12 and moving on from there. That diet is not suitable for human consumption, and you have to doctor it in all kinds of ways just to make it somewhat suitable short term. Therefore, people that come into it with their own ideologies will have to falsify the claims that their school taught them. They will have to obstruct those teachings and modify them in a way that suits them. Simple as that. And this is what Goji Man did and probably still does. This is why I talked shit, quote unquote, about him last stream, and this is why he got so pissed off and wanted to sue me and whatnot, as he always does. But yeah, that's just what we see in the vegan community, man. And again, about the vegans that will say, yeah, juice fasting, raw veganism, that's not veganism. Guys, honestly, at this point, I already lost the motivation. Instead of looking at us and trying to keep a somewhat open mind, because I don't know, man, I heard that people hate us, but if you look at us, I think we look somewhat normal. You can somewhat relate to us, even if you don't love us, right? You will see two dudes from two different parts of the world. And now just ask yourself the question, do you really think that every single word that is coming out of Drew's or my mouth is a lie? And everything that we do here is hate on the vegans because we hate animals and want to kill animals, as many as possible. Do you really think this is what we're doing here? Or maybe, possibly, we actually really had health issues with the vegan diet? Possibly, right? Could that be? Is that a possibility? And if so, open your open-mindedness, open vegan mind, and listen to us for a second and question what we're telling you. Because we're not the only ones. You have thousands of people coming out and they all experience the same issues. It is repeatable, man. You can say anecdotes as much as you want to. If you look into it, it is repeatable. It is all the same issues: gut health, depression, teeth health, and whatnot. So are all people lying? No. That is a sign of a cult. When you say that everybody else other than the vegans is lying, you saw it in the Vegan Gains videos as well. Everybody that disagrees with Richie is a liar. It's a liar. It's always a liar. How come? How come that everybody's lying,
Yeah,
but the
they're a
vegans
liar.
are always right? Of course.
That's what I always say is, okay, maybe you can call us wrong. You could say our information is incorrect, but to say that everybody is a liar is just so inaccurate. And it just shows a very poor rebuttal to what they're sharing. And again, if you just tried the damn thing that we're saying to do, you would find out for yourself. It's that It's that easy. Like 5 days, animal foods. Go eat eggs and fish and beef. Simple. I don't even care if it's high quality shit. And you're going to feel a difference if you've been vegan for like over 3, 4, or 5 years. You're going to feel a difference. There's no way around that. At the very least, you're not going to get sick. You're not going to have any negative effects. And that right there is going to mess with people's heads because they're going to be like, oh my God, I thought that this would just kill me. But it's like they're hiding behind this very thin wall where all they need to do is, instead of reaching for the Beyond Meat on the shelf, they just reach for the beef burger and cook it up in the secrecy of their own home and try it out. And they would be shocked to find out that it doesn't kill them immediately like they think it's going to happen, you know? Anyway, so somebody here said, top tuber says, I see a video at the time you were drinking nothing but orange juice on a juice fast for a day. Okay, for a day. Need to juice veggies, not fruit. Listen, dude, I was spending $12 or $13 in raw ingredients, juicing greens almost every night, along with a couple teaspoons of flax oil, the high dollar stuff, every day. So I was getting greens. It's like, again, you did it wrong. You couldn't even juice fast correctly. You know what I mean? Bobby, we can't do anything correctly. You know what I mean? But you see Bobby, he's like a more accomplished bodybuilder than 99% of the guys you're going to see in the gym. And then people are going to question you and say, I build muscle just fine. I could do 5 pull-ups. I had some guy tell me that he could do weighted pull-ups. I was like, the fuck does that matter?
Wow.
Who cares? Like, it doesn't have anything to do with your relative performance to yourself. Anyway, so somebody wants Spencer Mack. Yeah, Spencer Mack would be a good guess. We'll talk to him in the future. So, Bobby, where should we go from here? We've talked. Oh, I want to talk John Rose, actually.
Do you?
Because people keep asking me about John Rose because, I mean, we both did our juice fast based on his teachings, right? Mm-hmm. And I recently watched his video that he released yesterday, actually, and I did a bit of research. So he talks about in this video how fruit, of course, is the human's natural diet. And he talks about how fructose from fruit doesn't raise blood sugar. He says that fructose from fruit doesn't raise blood sugar. Like, if you just hear that one statement from a guru, and they're that wrong about a very simple, measurable, fundamental biological function, nothing else they say can be taken seriously whatsoever. Because there's people on YouTube all over the place that do blood sugar measuring tests, and they fucking compare. It's not even this is a 100% incorrect statement that he's making. So that's the foundation to his argument, is that you're not going to actually deal with insulin issues on a fruit-based diet because fruit doesn't spike blood sugar. You are incorrect, old wacky man. And plus his teeth are falling apart. I just wanted to mention that. So anyways, any thoughts from you?
No, to not sound like the vegans and to say that he's a liar or whatnot. It is simply false, and you can see that it seems like he is pretty mentally deranged. Even though it kind of hurts to say that, because there was a time where I really admired him. I thought that he has the truth, suffering on the whole food, plant-based, vegan diet. I thought that he can offer some relief, that he can cleanse this body and we can get adapted to the natural human diet, which is fruit out of his perspective. But those are those statements that ideologues will tell you about, that fruit doesn't raise blood sugar levels. As you said already, all you have to do is measure your blood sugar and you will see what is going on. Of course, it raises insulin levels. That is just what's going on. That is what is happening when you eat sugar, especially mono-mealing 10 mangoes and whatnot. What do you expect? Other than that, about John Rose, I followed him and I checked a couple of videos where he was talking about eating eggs and how crucial to some people's human health it could be if those people cannot convert their own cholesterol. So who tells us that he isn't eating eggs? That's only an assumption. I haven't been sitting with him at breakfast yesterday and saw him eating eggs. But if you're so obsessed with essentially not converting cholesterol and that there are important nutrients in eggs, as he said, what stops you from eating them yourself? And he never explicitly mention that he is vegan. He's talking about vegetarian diets, about vegan diets, sometimes about raw foodism. And in that raw food community, I encountered many, many different approaches. It is labeled raw veganism. Then, on the other hand, you see him eating sushi and whatnot. As long as it's raw, it's good to go. So, therefore, I simply do not trust that community at all anymore. And I'm not saying that to discredit them, quite the opposite. I think the raw vegans and the fruitarians are actually closer to the truth than the whole food cooked vegans, because I believe that that is the most detrimental diet to human health.
So Jonathan Irizarry, trusted member of our community, says it won't spike your blood sugar though. I've got personal tests eating 1,000 grapes at a time. Okay, Jonathan, here's the deal. So what happens is a lot of people take a 1 or a 2 hour blood test. The prick test, you know? And what happens is a lot of people do a 2 hour test. Vegans and fruit eaters say, hey, do a 2 hour test. And basically what happens is your blood sugar from baseline is almost back down to baseline in a normal functioning pancreatic individual. However, what happens at minutes 30, 60, 90, and 120? It still has a huge spike and then it comes back down. I can post a video. I copied this link. I'm going to show you guys the video for that. And this couple does tests all the time. This guy's got a channel called Beat Diabetes. I just posted it in the channel. In that video at 11 minutes, they reveal their results. And they show exactly how much... And by the way, he's a diabetic type 2, I believe. And his wife has a normal functioning pancreas. So they show in both of them how much their blood sugar raised. And they both almost peaked at the same exact levels. Then her blood sugar came down very, very much, a lot, almost back down to baseline. And then he does a test also comparing Concordian grape juice versus full sugar Coca-Cola, and the grape juice raised the blood sugar higher than the Coca-Cola did. And John Rose also in the video that he recently posted said that there's phytonutrients and other things in the fruit juice that doesn't let your blood sugar spike. So again, maybe you are an outlier, Jonathan, where your insulin or blood sugar doesn't go up. I don't know how that's possible. Maybe you are like a super responder, but it doesn't mean that there isn't some increase. That there has to be an increase. Otherwise, where would it go? And I talked to Dave Feldman about it yesterday. He's a blood researcher. That's all Dave Feldman does. And he's like, this, it's so repeatable and documented that it can't even be denied, basically. So anyway.
Phytonutrients. What kind of phytonutrients are those? How can you label a phytochemical, a plant chemical, a nutrient if there is no dietary need for it? There is no essential need for any of those so-called phytonutrients. What classifies them as a nutrient? A nutrient is a chemical that your body needs to survive and to thrive. You do not need any phytonutrients. They're phytochemicals. That's all there is. Why would you need chlorophyll in order to be healthy? There is no medicinal use for it. Zero. It's bullshit. It's a scam.
So I want to point out
Just
with plants
another
too.
false dialectic.
A lot of people, they point out plants like, hey, plants are plants are healthy, plants are good, but people inherently know that some plants are bad for us. We definitely know that poison ivy, for instance, go rub that go rub that in your armpits and see if that feels good. You're going to have a breakout all over your entire body, basically. We know that there's certain plants that have this really bad effect, and the same with animals. Yeah, we can't, there's poisonous frogs and snakes and stuff like that we wouldn't want to consume their poisonous things necessarily. But again, there's good animal foods and then there's not so good animal foods. There's probably okay plants and there's also definitely bad plants. But vegans want to pretend like all plants are good. Our bodies are made to just like consume all of this stuff, and it's just an open and shut case. Star Brady, welcome to the chat. I see you said, hey, I love your streams. I have found a lot of value in them. I'm curious about your thoughts on mindful diabetic Robbie. Do you know who that is? Yes, I do know who that is. Bobby, do you know who that is?
No, I never heard of him. Explain.
He's a guy, I believe he lives in LA. He's been around the fruitarian raw vegan community for a very long time. He like hung out with Evan Rock back in the early days, happy, healthy vegan, doing the very early days of those Fruit Lux over in California. And he basically runs his own clinic with like a health operation where he takes type 1 diabetics and type 2 diabetics and then puts them on basically a fruit diet. And then he says that it helps modulate their blood sugar better than ever. Although I've had many people comment to me on my channel and in my media saying if I did that, I would literally die like tomorrow, basically. They're saying that fruit makes their blood sugar go absolutely insane. So I don't understand how those guys can even do what they're doing. So I don't know the magic behind what they're doing. But there is no mainstream doctor in the world that is going to put a type 1 diabetic on a fruit-based diet. That just doesn't exist in the real world. So they're obviously doing something very counterculture. I don't know what is going on there, but I'd love to know more details about the ins and outs of that situation.
Yeah, I would like to hear something more about that as well. I don't want to judge prematurely. I mean, there are
Right.
many practices that we do not know about, so who knows, right? Maybe this is certain fruit diet that he recommends to his patients, and somehow magically it helps. From a conventional standpoint, of course, you would be doing the opposite. You would rather put them on a ketogenic diet, from which we know there is a lot of success with diabetics. But hey, who knows, right? You cannot judge prematurely.
Yeah, again, it's always a starting point. You made a good statement there. Like, okay, so you put a very overweight person on a fruitarian diet, they lose weight. Of course, their blood gets more stable and things are working better for them. But what about somebody who's already in shape, who's already type 1 diabetic? Like my grandfather, for instance, he was a skinny type 1 diabetic. He was that way for like 40 or 50 years, basically. And I mean, if he went on a fruit diet, I mean, he would, number one, waste away instantly and probably just become malnourished within a couple months. But then on top of that, like, you know, he doesn't have anywhere to go in terms of weight loss or these other typically diabetic markers, you know, like most diabetics are overweight. So, you know, they just get their weight in check and guess what? They're no longer diabetic. Like that's not like a real true diabetic right there in the first place.
Drew, I want to ask you something. I was thinking about talking about this. I'm kind of jumping off topic a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about John Rawls. We were talking about plant-based news. Why do you think that the vegan community puts so much trust into the vegan doctors? Aside from Dr. Gregor looking super malnourished, all the other doctors looking like running corpses. Aside from that, why do you think we as well in that vegan community trusted a handful of, sure, medical professionals, but of course not nutritional professionals? They do not have a degree in nutrition, and we still had so much faith in them. The daily dozen has become basically like the testament of veganism, right? Like the 10 commandments. And people say that this is the ideal. This is what we should follow. Why do they trust so blindly in those doctors? Yeah, what do you think about that, and what was it for you?
Yeah, I think that when you want something to work, you will, it's like a confirmation bias. Like you're going to seek out people that are having success with what you want to do. And then like that's a natural thing no matter what you're doing. Like if you want to get into a certain hobby, you know, like I want to build a good body on calisthenics, right? I can easily go find a weightlifting channel where somebody's getting results on in the gym, but when I want to be a calisthenic guy, I got to go to that media to find out what they're doing to make it work for them. Now, when you apply that to your own life, this is where vegans get it wrong, because it's not working for them in their own life. So when they're listening to these doctors and the doctors are saying, you know, Neil Barnard, somebody brought him up, I can cure type 2 diabetes. Maybe he can, maybe he can't. But if it doesn't cure you, what the fuck does it matter? So these people lack the ability to apply to themselves and then self-reflect and understand what is working and what isn't working. And look, this isn't a easy process. Me and you both did the vegan diet for an extended period of time. You know, like people in my family or friends or whatever are like, why didn't you just quit after a few months? It's like, man, you know, some things worked better and some things worked worse. And we were trying to work it out. We thought we were like onto the next fucking pioneers of this thing. We were going to take the human race to the next level and cure everything, you know? So yeah, it was worth the the investment seemed like it was worth the payoff if it worked out, but it just never quite worked out. And I think that a lot of people are more thinking about veganism from an emotional standpoint. And this is where I think the people stick around for way too long, because they, like I always talk about Happy Healthy Vegan being vegan vegetarian for over 10 years. He's been vegetarian, I believe, for like 12 or 14 years. But he claims to be a science-based vegan, right? Well, guys, that science that is confirming his bias didn't exist before he went vegan or vegetarian. So at some point, he made an emotional decision to do what he wanted to do. And then over the years, he crossed his little Scooby-Dooby fingers and hoped that things would come out confirming his own bias, and then he shares that material. So again, 10 years ago, nobody was agreeing with the vegan diet. 5 years ago was like a little bit of success here and there. And then now the last couple of years, WHO, vegan diet is applicable to all stages of life. We have meatless Mondays in the schools and all this bullshit. Now the mainstream is like, oh wow, this is great. When does the mainstream ever get it right, guys? The fucking Kardashians, the Kylie Jenner is like the richest chick in the world right now for selling makeup. Now you got all these chicks that want to copy that business plan. Like, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't mean that mainstream has it right. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, of course not, man.
That's where I'm at.
When did it ever get it right? Like you said, the mainstream, for me, it was always the opposite, right? Always do the opposite of what the mainstream tries to teach you. And that is not just to be in some sort of counterculture, but intuitively you know that it always has been bullshit. Back in the day, TV was bullshit, news were bullshit, and nowadays you have it on YouTube, and you know that those big channels will always promote bullshit. It is what it is. It is served for the masses, for consumerism. That is simple what is going on. Everybody can look through that. And the vegans lost the ability to listen to their own self. Maybe they stopped listening to their own guts, literally, because I can definitely talk about that as well. Once your gut lining is destroyed and you don't have any proper digestion anymore, it is really hard to trust your own gut. It really is. It could be due to some sort of bacterial imbalances, whatever it might be. We will need more science on that. Some sort of total dysbiosis of the microbiome. Your decision making will be influenced through that. And after that, I say that you cannot listen to yourself anymore. And then you will have that attempt to find that truth and further research. And this is where those doctors come into place, because then you try to confirm your biases, but meanwhile, it doesn't work for you. And it's such a dangerous route, because then you cannot allow yourself to experiment with something else. It is impossible, because then you're trapped in it. You're suffering, you get even more insecure, and you're putting your faith into an external force, into the doctors, into the plant-based research. Meanwhile, all you have to do is listen to your own gut, but you cannot do that anymore. And that is a dangerous place from which I, and I'm sure you as well, want to save people off. I want to spare them that hustle. I want to show them, hey guys, we've been through it. But you know it yourself, when we went vegan, there were other people that quote unquote failed on the vegan diet as well. And I didn't trust them either. No matter if it was Chris Kresser or that other lady, which name I always forget. She wrote The Vegetarian Myth. There were many people that already failed on that vegan thing, but I found an excuse and I said, yeah, sure, those people, they did it back in the day. They didn't have the proper supplementation. Now we can do it. And people will always try to make it work. And now we can do it. And now we can do it. That day will never come. The next step is the lab-grown meat. And people will say, now we can do it with the lab-grown meat. Now you can't, because you cannot replicate an ecosystem which has been here for billions of years. You can't. It's impossible. But they will try, and they will fail. And meanwhile, you will have the shit show between carnivores and temporary vegans. That's what is going on.
Yeah, you said something interesting about, literally trusting your gut. And I think even most vegans at this point, they're starting to wake up a little bit, and they're willing to accept that maybe 5% of the population, for whatever reason, can't be vegan long term, right? But guys, Who is going to tell you if you're part of the 95% successful group or the 5% you can't be vegan group? You still have to test it yourself. You might be part of that 5%. That's a pretty big percentage. And by the way, Bobby and I both know the real numbers behind that. It ain't no 5% fail on the vegan diet. It's like 95%, maybe more. Just being honest here. More. These are the real numbers here, guys. I can't believe we're even fucking like me and Bobby are getting bored of this. Like I can't believe that we still need to talk about this. You know what I mean? It's getting redundant.
100%, man. I'm getting go. Now 100%. I actually was this close to stop with all that ex-vegan, anti-vegan thing for a second and enjoy my life, to sail off. But on the other hand, as I said, there is too much need for that information still, but it gets fucking boring. Once you open up your eyes, you cannot believe that everybody else is still asleep. You cannot believe that they still follow that vegan diet. You really can't. But it's simple and similar to that wake-up call that you once experienced with raw veganism. Once you woke up from raw veganism, you looked at it and you said, what the fuck have I been doing? Out of a sudden you think, yeah, I need much more protein, of course. I need a couple of cooked starches. But it's the same awakening. And then you cannot believe that some people are raw vegan. Now you cannot believe that people are still vegan. And now start to think about the raw vegans. If I'm thinking about that somebody right now is on a juice fast or on a fruit diet, oh shit, man, I feel so sad for them. Yeah. Imagine that, going through all of that hustle for nothing. For nothing. I read it somewhere under a comment on my 40-day juice fast right now. Why? Don't. Stop it right now.
Stop right now. Go straight to the eggs. You need eggs to like jumpstart the system. So I'm losing my patience in the way that I'm already on to steps 2 and 3 and 4 in the healing process of helping other people. Like when somebody comes to me and they're still vegan, right? They're like, Drew, like, can you answer this one last question for me? Like I'm considering the carnivore thing. Like I'm an open-minded person. I'm already like, just go buy a fucking cow, just go straight to the store and buy the meat and try the meat. Like I don't even have that buffer of understanding anymore because it's so guaranteed. It's fucking guaranteed. There's nothing more guaranteed in life than you quitting veganism and going to eat a bunch of animal foods and the shit working better for you than veganism. It is 100% guaranteed better for you. Go test it. Prove me wrong. You can't. If you were to go do it, within 1 week, you're going to be like, God damn, this motherfucker on YouTube said if I just ate animal foods, I just had to throw 5 years of veganism down the drain. And that is just the way it is. And people are going to criticize that and say, Drew, you can't make this nutritional advice. And again, people try and boon and scapegoat the fact that we use carnivore as our foundation. We are not carnivores. You dumbass vegans. You're the only ones who don't understand this. We eat a lot of animal foods because they work great. We're not 100% carnivore. I drink diet soda. I eat Kit Kat candy bars. I had beer the other night. I had rice. I had bread at a restaurant. I had chips at a barbecue.
You still feel better than a vegan.
And I feel amazing. All right? Amazing. So I do want to talk about that, actually. I'm going to give a little update. Hopefully this doesn't bore you too much, Bobby. But again, this is not a sponsorship, guys. I've been taking this stuff for over 30 days now.
Shill.
The $20 Amazon shill. My hands are up. You got me. So this candida supplement, of course, I was hoping it would do something, but I was like, open eyes, right? I don't know if it's going to do anything for me. The reviews were really good on Amazon, of course. So I'm a little over 30 days in. The first few weeks, I wasn't noticing anything other than just no bloating. Like I was having zero bloating, even when I was throwing in trigger foods for me, which are like potatoes and some beans and stuff like that. I wasn't eating a whole lot of this food, but I gotta say, man, the last week or so, I'm throwing stuff at my system now just to see what happens because I'm like a garbage compactor. Like so guys, prepare yourselves. But my poop smells different now. And it has for a few weeks on this thing. It smells like pure bacteria. And this is a weird thing to say. It just really smells like bacteria. And like for those of you that have driven through like wet, muggy climates where there's a lot of humidity in the air, you're gonna smell like this unpleasant bacterial smell, usually where there's water and dirt and stuff like that. That's how it smells. It's almost like a manure type of smell versus like a bad poop smell. I don't know how else to describe that, but it's definitely doing something, and things are just cleaner. There's less gas than ever. There's zero bloating ever, even when I'm eating wacky shit like beer and chips and dips, and man, I am throwing everything at the stomach, and it's great. It is great, and I can't wait to see how much even more it improves. So that's just my little update right there.
Yeah, great to hear. Talking about updates, do you want to give the vegans or the general public some downsides? Should we talk about
Yes.
downsides? I just recorded a video about a couple of downsides of the carnivore diet. Why not, right? Because people always blame us to be liars. We can talk openly about the negatives. You can start.
Yeah, so I watched your video, and I noticed you talked about body odor. And
yeah,
I am totally willing to be transparent about any negatives that I have on any diet, just like I was on the vegan diet. Now, with carnivore, what else? Like, okay, if we're talking, we're not, when we say carnivore, guys, I guess we do need to delineate. If we're saying carnivore, we're talking like legit carnivore, zero plant foods. But I'm going to say like high carnivore, all right? That's how I eat currently, high carnivore. I do notice an increase in body odor from what I remember as a vegan. We're talking in the armpits. I don't have keto crotch. Everything else smells better. Like I said, the poop is better. But the BO in the armpits is worse a little bit. It's not like I didn't smell as a vegan.
Spices? Do you spice your food up a lot? Do you have garlic?
Yes.
Onions?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Yeah, I have the same. When I eat meat, especially here in Macedonia, cevapcici and stuff like that, I noticed that too. That many meats come with onions and garlic or garlic sauces. And that could contribute to that. Because when I'm eating raw tartar or sashimi, I do not have that smell.
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a raw meat eater, but other than like sushi. But I bet that if you were to just do 100% raw grass-fed beef all week, that would be interesting to see the body odor. I would bet that it would go down quite a bit because obviously I spice and season everything, all my meats that I cook, and so can we blame the plants there? I'm not going to blame the plants, but I'm going to say that, I do smell the same or worse, and it is what it is. That's one negative. What would you say is another?
See, every negative that I would list, I have to say that it resolved itself over time. So in the beginning, there was this improvement in energy, but then there was this downside that I was much sleepier in the mornings, and I would feel kind of hungover almost. But the sleep was so much better. Nowadays, I do not have it. And I mention this because I believe that many vegans, when they try to experiment, after a couple of days, they get scared and they jump back to veganism as well. That happened before. But I believe there are certain healing and repair processes in the body, and you should wait it out. Because now, downsides, sleepiness, drowsiness in the morning, sometimes even a lack of energy or sleepiness again midday. And this is what the vegans were telling me back in the day, right? Once you eliminate the animal foods, you experience so much more energy. And all of a sudden, I felt less. But let me tell you, after 2, maybe 3 weeks, that cleared up as well. So therefore, all of those negatives, I do not have many left of them. I had inflammation all of a sudden in my knees. And I said, shit, must be due to the animal foods. But it was the combination of animal foods with carbohydrates. Once I cut out the carbs again, yeah, guess what? The inflammation was gone too. So what we see here, Drew, is, I believe, a infliction of certain ailments when you combine the foods. As you said, you don't want to blame the plants, but what if you combine onions with meat? I don't want to blame the pasta, but what when you combine the pasta with meat? I see a lot of issues there. And I think this is why we see so much improvement with a pure carnivore approach. But back to the downsides. Other than the the thing that I just mentioned with the body odor, I have to say that the real downside of the carnivore diet is something that I didn't mention, and that is it is expensive. I think
Mm.
that is the big downside of the carnivore diet. If you want real quality food, you will spend a lot of money. It's not as cheap as a nutritionally deficient rice and bean diet. That would be something. Yeah.
I think that's going to be location dependent because for me,
True.
of course, I eat a more conventional meat based diet, but I'm getting ribeye steaks for $5 a pound. Like we're talking like
Okay, that's cheap.
throw a 1 pound ribeye on the grill, and I'm eating lunch for $5. And on top of that, I'm only eating 2 times a day because I'm satisfied with my meals. I mean, I'm eating for cheaper now than I was as a vegan, 100%. But I agree, if I wanted to go straight to the store and buy grass-fed organic ribeye, that's $18 a pound. Now all of a sudden, that lunch went from $5 to $18. That's a totally different price point. And I will say, as a vegan, I was spending well over $10 to home cook my own dinners every day, whether it was processed or not. So that was an expensive diet as well. I was spending a lot of money, not to mention how much food you waste as a vegan because of all the fruit that goes bad. Dude, man, what a pain in the ass. The whole thing is a pain in the ass. I thought it was worth it at the time because of the health benefits and the animal benefits. And it seemed like everything was just going to work out. I was just going to be this farmer's market hunter-gatherer, going to the market with my little bags. Yeah, I was a gatherer. I was a gatherer, guys. But yeah, rice and beans. I like when vegans say that. What's cheaper than rice and beans? It's like, okay, let's see you eat rice and beans all day long. What's going to happen to you? You're not going to last very long. Nobody does that.
You can't. How much do you pay for raw milk in California?
It's straight from the store. It's quite expensive. It's like $16 a gallon, which is what, 4 liters? 4 liters? Yeah, I think it's 4 or 5 liters. So,
$16.
Not cheap, but I would say that the best compromise that we have with milk is this very lightly processed milk that comes from a small house farm, and it's only $6 a gallon. So that's a little more reasonable.
Yeah, that's good.
And it's just lightly homogenized. It's lightly pasteurized, and it has like the cream layer on top. So it's got, I don't know, most of the, it's like a seared ahi, it's just a little cooked.
Here in Macedonia, for raw milk, 1.5 liters in such a bottle here. They just fill it up straight off the tit. They just filter it through quickly with a mesh. So it cannot get any rawer than that. Yeah. 1.5 liters was €1. €1 is, what is that? Wow. Like $1.20, $1.30, something along those ones for 1.5 liters. So that's pretty good.
Very good.
Got it yesterday. Had my raw milk. It's really delicious, man. I have to say. And I actually hate milk usually, but this is good.
Raw milk is good, man. Like, whoa. Lester says Walmart has grass-fed finished ground beef for $5.69 a pound. I can find ground beef for $4 a pound, no problem. At the local health food store.
Yeah, ground meat is good.
Yeah, so we.
I've been eating a lot of ground beef here.
I haven't been a fan of ground beef. I think there's a certain moisture content to ground beef that I don't like. Like, you have to really cook ground beef like a lot for me to enjoy it, because it's got like this a lot of water content in it, and when you heat that up, it has like this taste of wet dog to me, like a scent of wet dog. Even when I grill it, I have to really grill it for a long time. I really don't like it. I'll be moving.
That doesn't sound good, but that must be the meat quality, because I'm getting great grass-fed beef here, and there is no water coming out once you cook it at all. It just stays firm.
Oh,
just
okay,
like so.
I see.
Super delicious.
Yeah, that's
just
interesting.
firm like a steak.
That's what I need. And do you are you still eating a lot of raw meat? Because I'm curious about your raw situation over there.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I eat raw meat every day.
I'm getting a little more inclined that direction, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. I just had raw liver, I had raw milk today, and I had raw ground beef as well. Yeah,
how much are you really enjoying raw liver?
I do not at all.
You don't?
Maybe that is a downside, right? We can talk about that openly. I do not. What I do is I cut it in little pieces. Shout out to a subscriber of mine. He gave me that tip. Into little pieces, basically capsule size, like a supplement. And this is how I treat it. I use it as a supplement. And I just chuck it down without chewing. But For people that say, why don't you just cook it if you don't like it raw? No. That's not it. I hate cooked liver. That's even worse for me. I cannot stand it. So therefore, the raw liver is much, much better to me because it has less of a scent. This is how I eat it. But do I enjoy it? Nah, of course not, man. I always dislike liver. But the benefits are amazing. Like 20 minutes, 30 minutes latest after ingesting raw liver, if I eat 30 to 40 grams, I get a bonus straight away, man. I get
Okay, I'm
super
gonna eat
horny
some
with
real
that
liver
shit.
today.
It's insane.
I'm gonna eat some liver today. I've got some in the
Still,
freezer.
yeah, go for it. In the freezer, frozen.
Yeah, that's the only way I can get it here. It's well, probably not the only way. I'm sure I could source it from some farm, drive an hour away or something like that. But at the local, halal spot, I can go get some raw liver, but it's frozen.
Right. Yeah, you can chuck little pieces and just like drops. You can eat them like so. You don't have to cook it at all. Especially
Yeah,
not frozen. Should be safe.
yeah. I definitely tried to eat a bit of it raw when I first got it, and I was like, all
Yeah.
right, I got to try this out, see what everybody's all about here. And I was like, nah, man, this is not good. I wasn't into it. Now, raw beef. Here's the weird thing. So back in the day when I was, eating 5 meals a day, trying to be a bodybuilder, I was like getting so much beef that it was starting to look good to me, like the raw meat. Like I was starting to salivate. I was noticing I was salivating before I started cooking. And I was like, like I almost was like looking at the meat, like, why don't I kind of want to just take a bite of this thing right now. But I never did. I know. I've done it since then and it's good. It's fine. Not my favorite thing. I still like seasoned cooked meat, but I did think it was funny that like, again, these vegans, they're like, I could never eat animal food. It just disgusts me. It's like, okay, let me strap you to a chair. I'm going to season up the beef, baby. I'm going to put it on the grill. And that smoke is just going to charcoal grill. It's just going to waft into your face. You are going to salivate. I'm salivating thinking about that right now. Like that whole experience.
I'm getting hungry too.
I know. It's crazy. Meat cannot be denied.
But raw meat, I always say that there is less happening in your mouth, but there is much more of a subtle energy to it. With cooked meats, on the other hand, of course, I'm not going to pretend here. I'm not sweaty here. If you eat cooked meat, a good steak, of course, that tastes great. You eat it and you experience more bliss whilst chewing. But the after effect is not as pure. It's really true. It is subtle, especially if you eat it for a time. If you eat a week of raw meat, you will feel the difference. It's quite amazing, especially with a good quality sauce. I was lucky, and in France, I was eating so much steak tartare every single day. Man, that stuff beams you to the moon. It is absolutely delicious.
This, I can confirm this 100%. You're correct. And I want to say over the weekend, I went to this farmer's market, not farmer's market, but like a very high-end health food store. Like I would say it's even a level above Whole Foods. And it's in San Diego. So I went down there, got some salmon, and I never bake salmon. I always grill it. So my salmon always comes out a little bit drier when you grill, right?
Yeah.
And then I baked it, and it was very tender, and it kept all the juices right there, and nothing was lost. You know what I mean? And it was cooked at a lower temperature than how I normally grill. So it was a different experience. When I ate this fish, it was a high quality fish. I had the same mental, the same brain like uplift as I did when I first tried grass-fed beef when I came from veganism. Like there's a certain like super calmness and like, oh, like it's not just I had something delicious. It's more like your brain, it just, man, it's hard to describe, but it just chills up.
That's how it feels to me. My body's thankful.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to try it out. It's really expensive, but you have to try it out to get your hands onto some salmon roe and a good amount of it. And just eat salmon roe with a spoon, man. Like get a little bowl full of it and eat salmon roe. I promise you, you will get an out-of-body experience. It's insane. It's the best feeling on this planet.
I'm going to set my raw food game up here very shortly. I'm very happy with my results. At this point, it's just like playing around with getting even better results, but that's something I couldn't say as a vegan. Like as a vegan, and I want to say about that little thankful feeling, I did get that feeling as a vegan sometimes, and I want to point out when that happened. The only time that feeling happened was when I got super, super, super high grade greens and I cooked them into my meals. And that would also happen when I would eat on Evan Rock's farm in Hawaii because Evan would source this incredibly high quality greens from his garden where he was treating the soil. Everything was done to the absolute highest degree possible. And yes, when I would eat that food along with fermented food that he would have always on hand, because these guys are crazy. The rocks, they rock, man. They got multiple, fermented veggies going on in the fridge at a time, coconut yogurt with enzymes, the vegan mecca basically. And when I would eat that food, I would finish and I'd be like, oh, I would have that sensation, but it was very rare as a vegan. And again, it was like very hard to reproduce that feeling. Whereas on a meat, it's like you just go to the store, you get salmon rail, boom, you have that feeling. It's good to go.
Do you think that if you would live on such a farm, you could make the vegan diet work?
Fuck no. Even Evan and them couldn't make it work. And they said that, even when we were all still vegan, I was talking to them. I was like, because the reason why Evan created that farm in the first place was he wanted food independence. He wanted, he called it food sovereignty. So he had the dream of basically creating an area, an ecosystem in his land where he didn't even need to purchase food outside of that. But even during that time, even when everything was fully rolling, banana trees of every variety, durians growing on the land. How many people got durian growing on their land? He had a fucking durian orchard, and it was amazing, and it worked. Now, all that being said, he was still going into town to buy his rice and his lentils and his beans and tofu and tempeh and all the other stuff. And they knew it. They weren't trying to hide that. But again, it was like the dream was one thing, and it was mostly realized. But then the eventual reality set in of like, dude, we just can't do all this. It's impossible. So no, you can't.
Yeah. No, you can't. I mean, people like Tristan, they talked about that as well, that you just cannot sustain a vegan diet if you have a farmland or whatnot. You just cannot make it work physically. It's impossible. No matter what you do, you will always run to the shop for tofu, tempeh, and of course, not to mention, again, the supplements that you will have to rely on. It is what it is. It is impossible to plant B12. Or you want to eat dirt, then good luck. It's impossible to do.
Star Brady asks, what kind of liver do you eat? Is there some... I mean, beef liver is probably your thing, right?
Yes, I eat beef liver. I had veal liver as well, but I have to say I'm somewhat of an ethical carnivore, and I do not want to eat babies. So therefore, I always choose to get the beef liver if I get the chance. Because I really do not see the point in eating baby animals if we can let them live out at least half a year longer, It's just me.
Right. Yeah. That's just... Bobby's got compassion. He's got a heart. I got a comment last night. Drew promotes carnivore... Therefore, he has no he lacks compassion or something like that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but again, what about the argument that I just displayed in my Ask a Farmer series? What about all of those animal deaths? And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to pretend that I personally do care more for a mouse than a cow. I'm not going to be pretentious here. Of course, we as humans relate more to the cow because we've been living in symbiosis, and the mice have always been pests. So therefore, of course, we look at them differently. But we're talking about universal ethics here, right? So what is the difference?
Yeah.
Name the trait, so to speak. So why wouldn't I care about more death then? By the vegan logic, you are definitely creating more suffering.
So I've got a friend. She's one of the only people that legitimately falls into the spiritually emotional vegan category. Like she doesn't even claim veganism, and she's actually not vegan. So like she's not the type where she goes to the restaurant and she's asking if there's butter or whatever. But when she buys all of her own foods, it is 100% plant-based because she legitimately doesn't want to like harm from like an emotional standpoint. She will literally take a baby spider out of her, shower and blow on it until it's dried off and let it walk away. Like she cannot, and she'll talk to these little creatures. So I'm wondering like what, because she's even open to the fact that veganism might not be the healthiest thing for her, but she's just absolutely not putting animals into her body from the emotional standpoint. Like, and I'm sure somebody out there is watching this is in that category. So what do you think about that? Like, how do we help these people? Because they're yeah.
No, you don't. I can relate to that because I had the exact same struggle. Now, really, I don't want to be condescending, because we've been there, we've been blaming and shaming the vegans as well. We're making fun. Of course, it's all in good fun here. But let's be
Yeah.
honest, if you have such an emotional, strong connection to animals, I can relate to that because I had it myself. That was the reason why I went vegan. People still do not understand that I was an ethical vegan. They say
Hmm.
such a thing does not exist because if you stop being vegan, you've never been vegan, right? You cannot have that ethical connection. But I say that once your body fails and your health suffers to that extent, yeah, then you will learn the lesson yourself. So therefore, it
Hmm.
doesn't matter what Drew or Bobby says now. They can't listen because they still feel somewhat all right. And you know what? I wish them the best of health. I really do. Stay healthy. All the best to you. I have friends like that myself. I still have vegan friends, believe it or not. And they cannot make that switch because of it. And I say, hey, I wish you the best of health. But once the suffering really kicks in, you will understand where I'm coming from. And then you will have to make that shift yourself. Once you really starve yourself out, you really suffer, you will make that shift naturally. Before that, nobody can tell you anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the health, again, it's like poor health or starvation will teach you real lessons about life where you put aside the
Exactly.
bullshit and you're just like, okay, I need to make some real decisions here. And for a lot of people, that also comes when they have children. I see a lot of people
For sure.
shift away from veganism once they have kids because there's like, oh shit, reality is too real right now. And I'm not going to
Mm,
gamble on this kid's life and feed him a vegan diet
exactly.
because even I am willing to understand that my diet isn't perfect for me. So how, Mark Gerber says Drew is selfish and arrogant. No, you are talking about the vegans. The vegans are the most arrogant people on the planet. They are the worst of the worst. And when you writing
Mm.
that makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. I hate you, Mark Gerber. I fucking hate you. I'm going to ban you because you've triggered me and I fucking hate you. Vegans, I have no time for them
Leave
anymore.
him in.
They're
Leave
so
him in. I think it's fun.
stupid, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It is very pretentious to assume that you understand the full spectrum of this world. It is very pretentious to think that you read up on YouTube and you watch a couple of Netflix documentaries and out of a sudden you understand everything. You understand
Right.
every person's subjective reality. You understand every person's health issues. You understand everything, the environmental issues. You learned it all. That's very pretentious and it is a very childish move as well. Sooner or later people will wake up and you see it as well at the moment with many vegans that have somewhat of an open mind waking up to their own bullshit, and
Mm-hmm.
therefore it is a beautiful learning lesson. I hope that we can put it to the past soon, but of course you will always have certain vegan superstars and promoters. As we
Mm.
mentioned before, we always have certain people like John Venus, Similar Nutrition and whatnot on YouTube, but it gets less and less and less and less. So pretty soon, I don't think many will be left to represent that dangerous
Let's talk about
narrative
that.
here. Even
Let's
with
talk about that.
this Game Changers documentary, what is up with that? Like it's not coming on, right? They announced the Game Changers 3 years ago. I'm still
So
waiting
Tim
for that one.
Tim so here's the interesting thing. I think vegans keep dropping out of it.
Yeah,
If
for
if
sure.
if they are ethical. For instance, Tim Sheaf had to let them know he doesn't want to be in the documentary anymore. Like they probably
Right.
had like a segment with Tim Sheaf in it, and he pulled himself out of it. So that's one
Wow.
thing. Now I want to talk more about these vegan superstars because these guys are so big. Now you've got people like Ravana, Elise, these girls that have come out now that have basically
Right.
said we're not doing it anymore. Obviously
They were
it's
the
changed their
biggest.
they were huge, exactly. But
Yeah.
I'm wondering now with John Venus and these guys, like they just met up in California. They're like an hour away from me right now. I'm wondering like if they're all coming together, the heads, and they're like, "Hey, John. All right, Derek, Brian, listen. All these fucking ex-vegans are out here. Should we try some meat while we're out here in LA and nobody's around and can see us? Should we just order in? Should we just order in some pizza? Let's try it out. Like, what are these guys doing? On video they're trying to beat juice, as you saw in your video, as you said in your
Mhm.
video. But like, what is the purpose of them all being together in one location so that they can film fucking scooter videos? Who gives a shit? They're probably in a little Airbnb in LA like postmating in some grass-fed beef liver, trying to figure it out for themselves. And I almost halfway believe
sushi.
Yeah, and they're gonna basically all come out together at the same time. Guys, we've been on meat for 3 months. We're all coming out at the same time. What would happen? What would happen if that was the case? Do you think veganism would just completely implode?
That would be awesome. I mean, it would be nice if those guys would give each other a support system. Because to be honest, those videos, I'm in contact with John Venus. I just wrote with him yesterday again. He's a really nice guy. But those videos, let's be honest, they are cringe-worthy. They're absolutely cringe-worthy, man.
I can't watch them.
Act so childish. Hey, let's drive the scooter together. Let's have beet juice. Let's poison ourselves. Yay, oxalates. Fantastic. What a great day. It's fucking ridiculous. Looks like 12-year-olds. I can't stand that shit. But anyways, aside from that, I would wish them all the best. I would hope that they would come out together all at once and bye-bye. What would happen to veganism, though? I think it would still live on because
someone would fill in the spot.
Fanboys online. Come again?
Someone would fill in the spot.
Yeah, of course. They're just fighting for that. As I said, if there is an open spot, people will just jump in, the next big thing, and they will promote the shit out of it. There are always some people that are somewhat fit, have been vegan for 1 or 2 years, still some muscle left. Boom, the next fitness vegan superstar. You always have those people in place. The question, of course, becomes who is orchestrating that puppet show? But nobody thinks about that. Everybody thinks that they are doing it themselves. They're in it for the right reasons. They are saving the planet, saving the animals. It is an absolute shit show. It is a denial of how this planet works. Simple. It is an absolute denial of how reality works, how human physiology works, how the environment really works. Everything on every level of existence, pure denial. That is what veganism is. And once you open up your eyes to that, you cannot go back anymore. And this is what vegans are afraid of. They're afraid that somebody will wake them up from that sweet little dream. They're dreaming of Disney figures. They're all fantasizing about being friends with the animals. We're living in utopia. And they're afraid that Bobby and Drew wake them up. Knock, 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 knock. Wake up. Wake up. That's what they're scared of.
We set him on fire, guys. We got Bobby going now. See, we only played like we were bored. We got another gear to hate on vegans. Trust me, we got more gears. Jesus,
it is still fun,
dude.
though.
It's so fun. It's so fun because it's like you could take shots at everything and you just be right, Like you could punch the punching bag, you got the speed bag, you got the heavy bag. You could kick it if you want to. It just feels good, It gets some stress out. Especially us, we're getting shit talk all over the place from these idiots that show up in our comment section, and it's just like, oh my God, what more do you guys want? We're giving you guys, you're out in the field saying, ask a farmer, talking to real farmers. Garland Farms is making content. We got vegan deterioration showing literally the deterioration of many popular vegans on YouTube over the course of 5 or 6 years. These women that are just falling apart before your very eyes, and then people are still making excuses for it. It's fucking crazy. Like, what are you guys still holding on for? Go try animal foods for 5 days and just get it over with, because it's going to happen anyways. God. Anyway.
Nah, it's like saying it's like saying try Satanism to a Christian. It's impossible. It won't happen that way. For them, we are the true Satanists, the carnists. They cannot swip over. By default, we are the bad guys. It is normal. They cannot open up their minds, man. It is what it is. Therefore, we can try to be nice. We can try to be logical. We can try to give them the evidence. They will still discard everything straight away. But on the flip side, I have to say that many people that left many, many hateful comments, a couple of months or weeks later, they would come on my channel again and apologize even. And they would say, hey, sorry, Bobby, you were right. Really, I have to apologize. I tried it out myself, and now it works tremendously. Thank you very much. So therefore, there's always hope for everybody.
Yeah. No, I agree. And it's nice. I think, people, you just see how emotional people are, really. Like when they basically lose their mind on you online, then they come and hate on you, then they come and write to you in private and they say, hey, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. That happens. It does happen a lot. But in the moment, geez, people really losing their damn shit. So, where does this take us now, Bobby? As far as like content, are you going to still do the Australia series that you planned on doing, or like where do you see your channel going as far as content goes and whatnot?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, that is a promise, and I'm still in contact with Rob Tungs, the farmer. We will still pump out certain videos, but it is more like a teaser of sorts. They're very short, as you can see. They're up to 5 minutes long. They're just snippets of what is going on. But once we get down there, we want to provide as much content as possible. Many people ask me, why Australia? Why don't you do it in Europe? Yeah, in Europe, I have small farms here as well, but on that major scale, on that
Mm.
global scale food production level, we can only do that in Australia. And on top of that, Australia being the land of dominion and the land of Joey Carbstrong, so on and so forth, right? The land of the vegans almost nowadays with
Mm.
the UK. I think it would be great to expose what is going on there. Because let's be honest, nobody will care if I film a couple of farms here in Macedonia. I will do that
Right.
too, but that won't convince anybody. Then they will say, yeah, that's a small country. Who cares, right? So therefore, yeah, Australia is still on the menu 100%. That is happening in October. On that note, anybody that is interested in helping us out, you can head over to my channel in the description box. We have all the links where you can participate, support our endeavors there. Other than that, my channel, thank God I named the thing Bobby's Perspective. So therefore, I have no responsibility, if you will, to produce content that will appeal to anybody in particular. When people blame me about anecdotal evidence, I always have to laugh. I'm like, yeah, genius. The channel is called Bobby's Perspective. What the fuck? Right? I didn't call it sciencefacts.org or something. So therefore, yeah, I will. Yeah, it's true. I will keep on publishing what I am doing, my travels, of course, sure, my experimentation with the diets from vegan to carnivore and beyond. It will always be a display of my perspective. So, as I said, this coming day, maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after that, we will go and slaughter a pig with my cousin, old school style, not some sort of industrial scale shit, but we're gonna go there. He's gonna take an axe and ram it over the head of the pig and then slit its throat. It's gonna be definitely gory, gonna be some rough shit. And
Yep.
believe me, I'm not excited. I'm not licking my lips over it. I can't wait to see a pig getting killed. Quite the opposite. I'm actually
Mm.
anxious. But I
Hmm.
want to experience that as well. I want to see how that goes. I will explore further what it means to eat meat in this modern day, right? In this artificial environment where we disconnect completely from our hunter urges, so to speak, but still enjoy the benefits of meat. I want to get a real perspective on that as well. Yeah, and then we see where it goes from there.
I had a
Yeah, how
bit.
about you, Drew?
Well, I think for my channel right now, like I'm gonna keep doing the interviews. There's a lot of people that's stepped forward this week in particular
Mm,
that want to go on, go on air basically. I have a vegan also. I haven't released this, but I have Mississippi vegan. Um, Tim. Tim, if anybody knows, he's a fruit photographer, fruit and vegetable photographer. Takes really awesome photos. And is like a
interesting.
little small farmer himself. Next Wednesday, he's going to be coming on. He's still a vegan. He's been vegan for like 8 or 9 years. I believe he does it for ethics, I want to say. So we'll talk,
Mm,
and we're friends. I met him in Hawaii. It's not going to be some fiery debate. But I guess what I'm noticing is that I'm probably going to have to start getting my hands dirty with talking to people I don't want to talk to, which is going. What's up,
such
Primal
as
Health? Um, it's going to be people like Logan Blake, who's the Thunder Bay trainer dude that I told you about. He's
right.
an idiot, and then you've got like probably like go on with vegan gains. Like I don't want to necessarily go back and forth with vegans but I
Yeah, me too.
understand that that's a very important thing to do because people
Mm,
want to see that. So I'm willing to have these debates or whatever. I'm going to have to transition from discussions to debates because at some point I'm going to run out of friends to talk to online. And, there's only so many
mm,
TED Cars and Jackson from Plantriotic that I can do.
right.
So,
But what does that prove? See, the thing is
mm,
this. When we are talking about debates, we
yep,
have to be open and transparent here. One person that established that format was, of course, Vegan Gains and his buddy Ask Yourself.
yep,
But those debates, what do they prove really? In the end, it proves who is better at a certain format of debating, and the format is
mm,
always set up by them. There are certain debates that didn't go as well as they planned, and they didn't publish them. Many of my viewers sent me links of other vegan gains debates that people haven't seen because Richard didn't bother to re-upload them on his main channel. They are
Mm,
somewhere lost in the obscurity of the internet, but they're out there. And so, therefore, as long as you go by their demand of a format, nobody will win. And this is why I told Richard back in the day as well. We can talk man to man, but don't give me your same spiel. It is
right.
boring to me, and not only to me personally, but to the viewers as well. We saw 3 rounds of Frank Tufano and Vegan Gains going at it. It was boring as fuck.
Yeah.
Those people, as Bart K said as well, they are not scientists, man. If you're not a scientist, you can interpret that data as much as you like to. You will always have flaws. And he exposed him for that as well. So therefore, you will tell me, no, 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 listen, it is like that. Meanwhile, you do not even understand what you're talking about. And the other
Absolutely.
person has to take it for granted, right? So therefore,
Yes.
where is this going? This format sucks. So therefore, Drew, if we really want to push forward with this, we have to establish a new format. And that format, I do not think that we should do what the vegans want us to do. Quite the opposite. If the vegans want to talk, I said it many, many times before, we are here. Come on, you can talk. But why do I have to step onto your format and bend my own values and rules and apply to your bullshit format? I do not want that, and the viewers do not want that either. Let's
Yep.
just talk man to man. I want to see that there is a human and not a Google bot. I think that we
Yeah.
should do that rather than going on a debate. I personally do not see you going on a vegan gains debate. What will that win? He will throw
No.
so many studies at you, and what will you do? Throw
No,
one
I
at
agree with
him,
you.
back and forth? No.
I guess when I said debate, it's more like I guess what I wanted to say was an argumentative format,
Yeah.
like when I talked with Ted Carr, for instance, it was a discussion, man to man, as you
Right.
said. But
Yeah.
there's people that I don't like. I like Ted for the most part.
Right.
I say I don't like
Right.
his online persona, but there's people I don't like that I
Yeah.
am going to have to talk to, and even if it's not a formal debate where we're throwing studies at each other, there's still going to be this heated discussion, and I'm okay with that, and
Right.
I'm down to bring those people on. But those people are actually those are hiders. You know what I mean? They're not actually coming out. All we have is this Logan Blake guy who's not even a real fucking channel. Basically, he just changed his name to I'm not vegan anymore, and he's like just trying to grow his little shitty channel that he's been around for years and years. Just makes really poor content, and he's essentially like a satirical channel. So, but I realize that even by bringing him on, he's already winning that game because he's not a real. He doesn't want to have a real discussion anyway. So like that guy's not even to get airtime from me. But I'm just saying, like other people out there, if there are other vegans out there, like for instance, Natasha and Luca from that vegan couple, I would like to have them on, and I think that would be a heated discussion. And I know that they are a real channel promoting a real message, or at least what they think is a real message. So those are the type of people that I'm talking about. Where the vasectomy, what?
Vasectomy. Yeah.
Vasectomy.
Luca.
I would have them on, and I believe that would be a good display of, back and forth between real people trying to, I don't know, talk about their real viewpoints, I guess.
Stance. Yeah. They're very emotional. Their whole ideology is just an emotional, just an appeal to emotion. That's all it is. They're like little children. Can't you see the suffering in their eyes? And then they hug each other. And, you're eating corpse. It's always the same thing. I cannot listen to them.
But what I think is a lot of those people haven't come across somebody who is going to just completely push that to the side. Most people are going to allow that to enter the debate or the argument or whatever, or the discussion. And around here, no, I will not allow that to enter the discussion. Number one, I don't care. Okay, the cows, great, guys. Yeah. Listen, I'm not a fucking psychotic murdering cow killer, but if it's me or them, I'm choosing me, period. I don't feel sad about it. I don't feel bad about it. I eat conventional meat. Deal with it. And people are going to hate that. And it is what it is, And trust me, I wish it was this fantasy world where there was just no harm. We could eat mangoes. Holy shit. Maja Larson. Salute to the big boy donation. All there
What
are $100, baby. Wow.
Oh, nice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kamala.
I see you, and you are somebody who's here all the time. So, yeah, tell us what SEK is.
That's
I'm interested in that. Absolutely. So,
is there a question attached to that super chat?
Just eyeballs. I see you, baby. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let us know if there's anything else attached to that. It's about $5. Oh, it's SEK. Okay, got it. It's SEK. What is that type of money?
I do not know.
Let me look that up. Now I'm curious.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Swedish krona. Okay.
That should be still pretty good, no?
Yeah, it's $10 USD. Thank you.
There you go.
One SEK is worth 0.0001. No, it's not. It's like 10 cents on the dollar. All right. So, anyway, somebody brought up Logan Blake as a hypocrite. At one point, he was also promoting a fruitarian diet. That guy is not a real channel.
That's when I found out about him. He was talking about the fruitarian diet and debating people about how superior a fruitarian lifestyle is. It seemed totally ridiculous. Didn't make any sense. I thought he's still fruitarian. I haven't checked his content in, I believe, over 1.5 years. So what is he up to now?
Now he changed his channel name to I'm Not Vegan Anymore, but he's still vegan. And then he went on recently with Carnival, and they just had a back and forth debate, basically. He wears his stupid red sunglasses where he's not even like, he's like a character. He's not a real person. So there's no point of even having him on. By even talking about him right now, he's winning. You know what I mean? So he just he's wasting time, basically, is what he is. He's not actually providing any type of real content. He tried to call out vegan deterioration.
No, that's what I'm seeing with the vegan community again, as we already established. The whole cookie is crumbling, and you see many people dropping out, and even those big vegan YouTubers, they're not so big anymore. Even if you look at Vegan Gains, his success was with the the anti-fitness industry thing. Mm-hmm. And those videos gave him the big numbers back in the day. And since then, it has been going down and down and down. He's getting less and less clicks. Therefore, I really wonder if it is a smart move to still engage with him, because I think that he knows that the ex-vegan thing becomes bigger than the vegan thing at the moment. And I believe that connecting to that anti-vegan community will popularize his channel a little bit more, and he will get more views, as he just does with my videos at the moment. So therefore, I'm really wondering if we should give him any attention at all. Is it counterproductive? Because in the end, I'm really wondering if we're talking about the greater good, Drew.
Yep.
Not just about who's going to win the debate, but the greater good, right? The greater good for humanity, if you will. Yep. Is there a reason to debate those people, those vegan personas on the internet? That is what I'm wondering about. Is there any value in it? I do not see much left. I really don't. I think it would be much more interesting to connect with vegan doctors and let them share their experience than those people. I see them fading in obscurity. Yeah.
I think that there's value in the fact that some of their audience. So this is what I personally believe, where most people start to unravel the thread, because I feel like people, when, let's say somebody sees Bobby's perspective, they see the bald head, they hate they are jealous of your voice. Then they say, fuck this guy. His beard's too good. I'm going to research online. I'm going straight to Google, and I'm going to prove this guy wrong. They're going to hear some argument from you. Then they're going to type into Google, and they're going to find something to argue against you with. But what happens that and this is why me and Bobby talk the way we do. We're just giving you guys some high level knowledge here. The reason why we say the stuff we do and we come out and we're just like basically aggro as we are, it's because we know it's going to trigger people in such a way that they're going to want to battle us. And then what happens is they end up researching against their own point at some point. If you actually go to Google and you try and type in monkey anatomy versus human anatomy, and then you try and prove the point that a monkey's anatomy is the same as a human's anatomy, guess what? that's a fucking landmine, because you're gonna figure out that all the stuff we've been saying all along about the biology of the human body, the way that it actually digests food, is accurate. And you're not going to be able to find anything that supports your argument unless you go to a vegan website that's like basically lying to you, or misinterpreting completely. Like, go to a non-carnivore and a non-vegan website. Go on Discovery Channel type shit, and you will see how this stuff really works. Anyway.
Yeah, but they are funded by the dairy industry, the vegans will say again. There's always the same thing. But yeah, it's true. It definitely provokes people or vegans into looking into other information. I believe that in the last 3 or 4 months of me being vegan, I couldn't look at the vegan information any longer because it was so repetitive and it didn't feel right anymore. And then I started researching. I started researching the crop deaths, and I started researching keto forums, carnivore forums, and whatnot. And I found out about so much success rate. And then I really couldn't close my eyes anymore because you didn't had those failure rates in those camps. Quite the opposite. Yeah, sometimes somebody decided to eat a potato. Okay, cool, great. But nobody ever decided to just completely stop eating animal foods again. It's so funny when vegans say, you're just craving the animal foods. Yeah,
Right.
sorry for being human. Yeah, of course.
Right.
Of course I do. My anatomy requires it. Of course you will crave meat. What do you expect?
But they're willing to... If anything proves that veganism is a religion more than this, then I would love to hear it. But in religion, they try and control every aspect of the human, right? They try and control the sexual urges, right? Like we hear about this in, right? You have to get married before you can have a baby, or have sex only to have a baby. This is the way it is in Christianity. But in veganism, you have, and even more so in the raw community, you have people saying that sexual desires and sexual urges are unnatural. And, that's something that they try and talk about, how they're transcended the human anatomy because they're no longer interested in the opposite sex. They can use that mental power for sitting there and basically meditating all day and doing nothing, when in reality it's because they're on the way to death, man. They don't have the energy, the urges. Nobody feels better as a human than engaging in very human activities like laughing and eating and having sex. These are like the foundations of fun. And if your body is operating properly, these things are fun to you. And they should be fun to you. They're like the whole point of this whole fucking place, basically. And the vegans are trying to take every single piece of that away from you. It's crazy.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they try to make you as uncomfortable as possible in this human flesh body and make you reliant on all kinds of pharmaceuticals, and then give you justification that are total mumbo jumbo. Of course, you see that in the raw vegan community, especially because then your hormones shut down completely. But you see that in the vegan community as well, with all of those vasectomies and the lowered sex drive. It's just normal, right? For them, it seems normal, and everything comes into one place, because then they will continue talking about overpopulation. You always have another argument that will reaffirm that point. You don't want to have sex? Yeah, of course not. There are too many humans anyways.
Yeah.
It's
nature's
bad,
balancing
right?
itself out. You're operating within nature's boundaries, eating your natural human diet. You shouldn't want to have sex with people or have babies when there's too many people. It's like, dude, nature is trying to survive. That there's no animal in the wild that passes up an opportunity when they're in health and the other animals in health. They're just going at it. They're never like, you know what? Overpopulated. We're going to pass up on this bang sesh. You think that lions are trying to say, you think lions are performing no fap motherfuckers? No, they're busting nuts. They're famous for it. And all they do is sleep. And then the chicks get the food. I like that. I like that model. That's good.
Sounds like a good model. It's quite funny to see, when vegans talk about nature, what is nature anyways? Like, you do not see yourself as an intrinsic part of nature anymore. To overpopulate something is a successful species. So you are successful at something. It is good. We as humans should populate the planet as the successful species. That is what we should be doing.
Right.
But
yes.
somehow that has become a bad thing in the vegan dogma. And this is why it is such an anti-human movement, of course. they will tell you that you are bad because you are against nature. Meanwhile, you are nature. What else are
Right.
you? You're a flesh body. See?
It's
It's a
anti-nature
contradiction.
to
It's
not
crazy.
try and have more kids, basically. And I'm not somebody who wants a bunch of kids. I am a weird person. I enjoy massive amounts of freedom, and I also don't like the whole laws surrounding, kids and stuff like that. But that's a whole different situation there. If I was rich, I'd probably have a bunch of kids. If I was rich and didn't have to worry about that shit, man, I'd just fucking have a bunch of those little kids. Get a couple nannies, enjoy the kids, go to their baseball games. It'd be great. But man, it's tough out there. That's why, I just logically thought about that. But as far as like nature is concerned, I'm not fucking worried about overpopulation. What do I care? Just have more kids. Anyway.
Yeah. Anything else in the chat going on? I haven't looked into it.
It's going crazy right now, actually.
Yeah.
People asking, hey, your dick stopped working. Hey, your dick stopped working when you were vegan? Let's talk about that maybe for a second.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, I can talk about that straight away. So, did it stop working? Not necessarily. It still worked, but my libido was just gone. So therefore, it's like asking, did you still had taste buds in your mouth? Yeah, but I wasn't hungry, so to speak. You understand? I just had no appetite for sex. That's it. I couldn't be bothered with sex because for me it was always this energy requirement that wasn't there. It was taking too much energy, and I was always calculating in my brain, should I expand that energy now? And no, eating more calories didn't cut it. So therefore, even during sex, I would fantasize about eating cereal. I was totally bored out of my mind. Do you know when you have sex with a partner that you truly enjoy, right? I kind of wonder that I have to explain this. But you will feel this connection and you will forget about everything else around you. You will be just in the moment. People want to experience this through transcendental meditation. But this is what you experience when you really enjoy sex. You will be fully present. Amazing. You cannot take your eyes off that body of that beautiful woman. Or at least it should be that way. And that wasn't happening. I was totally distracted. Having sex, looking around, looking at my laptop, almost seeing if something pops up, hungry, staring at the fridge. Absolutely terrible. Yeah,
Yep.
that was me.
I can actually say that it stopped working. It failed me in one or two scenarios completely. And it was like it would work it was like a car that was a bit unreliable, you could start it and get to work some days, and other days you couldn't. You got to take the bus. So that's all I'm saying about it. It definitely changed and got better when I went back to the animal foods, and that's really all I could say about that. So it's kind of funny that, but it wasn't always that way. By the way, on the vegan diet, it did work completely normally for about 4 years. The last 6 months was not quite awesome. It definitely took a hit, and it was like a sharp decline. Like one day, it just changed. It wasn't like it got slowly worse over time.
Yeah,
So,
but this is exactly what we know about depletion of the body. Because once the depletion is hit, it changes over the course of one day.
yeah,
You can
true,
have
right.
no vitamin B12 deficiency symptoms, and then from one day to the other, boom, nervous system can be really inflamed, total degradation in the matter of hours. So therefore, this is probably what happened to you.
And the same with the return as well.
Yeah,
Because a lot of people think that the ex-vegans are liars. They're full of shit. They had salmon. They had a wet dream. No, like if you are depleted, and it's like putting gas in the tank. Like, okay, your car won't start with no gas in the tank. It's not going to go anywhere. But you put a cup's worth of gasoline in there. Guess what? It's going to start and it's going to move again. So it's that
exactly right.
simple. You fix the problem.
Yeah, exactly right. But the vegans will always tell you that mineral depletions and vitamin deficiencies cannot be fixed straight away like that. But yes, they can. If you are suffering and you are thirsty as hell, you haven't been drinking water in days. Once you drink water, you are replenishing your body. It works instantly. If you have low blood sugar, God forbid you're diabetic, you drink sugar water, boom, blood sugar goes up straight away. Yes, our body has responses to nutrients straight away as well. Of course, a total mineral and vitamin depletion will take time to recover fully, and we experience that as well. I'm sure that you didn't recover just from one day to the other straight away. For me, I have to say, it took half a year. Now it is around about half a year that I feel normal again.
Mm-hmm.
Until now, it has been a slow recovery.
I want to talk about that, actually. I specifically wanted to bring up your skin. Like, dude, your skin looks insane right now. Like, and it wasn't that way overnight, but I mean, like your most recent videos, and I've said it in a couple of their videos. I don't know if you guys out there are noticing this. Go watch Bobby's recent videos. Like, I don't want to sound mean, but I'm going to describe you with some exaggeration, of course, before. So like,
go for
back,
it.
Back pre-vegan or whatever.
Don't hold back. Go for
it. Okay, Bobby, you were disgusting. Okay. No, it was like, when smokers are smoking mad cigarettes and it's kind of like crunching in their skin, like their eyes and their lips are all like getting squished together, like old, and the skin is just starting to really lose its
no elasticity, no flexibility.
Yeah, exactly. And then recently it's like it's smooth, it's glowing, it's shiny with just that right amount of little bit of oil on it, and like the pores are good. It's crazy, dude. And your camera quality has even gotten better. So we should be seeing, if anything, we should be seeing more blemishes, but it's actually showing the opposite. So anyway, leather skin.
Yeah, I mean, right now on this shitty webcam with my internet connection here, you cannot see much. So I think even if I would have wrinkles over my face, I would still look good with this resolution here.
That's why I don't upgrade my camera.
Yeah, please leave the quality low. Now, but that being said, absolutely, man, the skin health has improved tremendously. I saw that aside from me with my little sister as well, because she's 28, I think, when she stopped with veganism. Yeah, she was 28, and she had wrinkles everywhere. Everywhere. They start popping out here around the eyes. It was terrible. And then in the matter of 1 week eating sashimi, man, she just filled up completely. It just stretched out again. The skin color changed. As you said, there was a little bit of oiliness to it, moisturized, absolutely beautiful. So this was a tremendous improvement. I talked about that in my video as well. I always had dry hands as a vegan. It was terrible, man. Always dry hands, and I couldn't moisturize them at all. I used coconut oil and whatnot just to re-moisturize them. It didn't work. And yeah, man, that over the last couple of months, especially eating a lot of fatty, greasy Macedonian meat here, helped quite a bit. Yeah. Cevapcici.
The cevapcici, that's the kebab, right? That's the
the
Persian food?
Little, similar to kebab, yeah. Those little sausage style cevapcicis.
I have so much meat in the fridge right now, but I would like to just go straight to the Persian place right now and get the kebabs because I love that food.
Yeah, I will do that after this year. I'm going out and getting 20 at least.
When are you doing that? Oh, after this.
Yeah, after this, I say straight away to the kebab shop here. Cevapcici shop.
So let's take it to the chat now. Guys, if you have any questions for Bobby and I, let's get them in. And the Kubi Day.
I look into it as well.
So Dark knows the Kubi Day is the bomb. I've been really, another thing too, I've been noticing that like there's a shift in the type of meats that I want and stuff like that. Lately I've actually been eating like more chicken, which I found a little bit strange. Really? Yeah.
I just had chicken today, but I really do not enjoy it at all. I cannot have it. The only white meat that I really like is crocodile. Chicken I just hate. Yeah, crocodile, man, because when you look into it, if you believe into evolution or not, that's a topic for another day. But you see that birds evolved out of reptiles, right?
Yes.
And therefore, not only did birds evolve out of reptiles, but we took those birds and formed those crippled little chickens out of them that don't fly anymore. They cannot run away. All you have to do is take them. They're almost like a vegetable, and we can snap their head and eat them straight away. And I think that manifests in the meat as well. It doesn't have that gaminess anymore, of course. So it's just this crippled little creature. Meanwhile, if you eat crocodile, the origin of that bird, if you will, to an extent, you still get this wild game, but white meat.
It's very fatty, isn't it?
Absolutely tremendous.
Crocodile's fatty too, isn't it? Oily, fatty?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it is a bit fatty. Not so much, though. But it has much more of a bite to it. Much richer flavor. Texture is amazing. Really amazing. Try it out if you can.
Yeah, and I know it's popular actually in the south of the U.S. But I I know that like in those survival shows, like where they're stuck on an island or whatever, like usually when they find an animal to hunt and kill, they usually get snakes. And then they just easily skin the snake. And then in
Right.
5 minutes, they're cooking it on the fire. And it's always, you can tell that they are enjoying it when they eat it, you know? Oh,
Yeah,
crocodile's
I heard
lean,
about it.
somebody said.
In Texas, they have those festivals even where they eat those snakes. I saw something on Vice, I believe.
Hmm.
They just gorge on snakes. They kill 100,000 in one weekend or something crazy like that.
Jesus. Uh,
Yeah.
Coach Charles says, "Are you guys natty?" I am definitely not natty. I'm 140 pounds of pure muscle. I actually
Yeah,
need to. I've been taking
Drew
the
is
week
definitely
off.
not that anymore. Who was that who said that you're not natty anymore? Was it Drew Ryder
Freely.
or was it
Oh,
somebody
the
else?
Queen. The Queen freely spoke my name and said I was also on steroids. It was one of the best days of my life. I got to be honest.
Yeah, those people, man. It's crazy. Every single time that you have somewhat that resembles a muscle, you're not natty anymore, of course.
Yep.
Because with the vegan protein, yeah, you can't build anything. I looked through the chat, but I cannot find any real questions here. Guys, just letting you know, can you ask questions and not debate so much because I cannot read
People are
through
just
it.
having too
That would
much
be
fun.
nice
That's
of you.
what's going on here.
Yeah, I'm trying really to look into it. I see people are talking about crocodiles, that they are
The sunken
very
eyes.
nutritious.
I like this
Yeah.
type of chat. You know, people just getting wild. That's what I really promote in my channel. I
Mm,
want the audience to be having a good time. This is health entertainment. Yes, we're going to give real information here, but we also need it to be entertaining.
of course, 100%. That's the beauty of those channels, man. As I said, your channel is named Drew Morgan. Mine is called Bobby's Perspective. We can basically say whatever we want to say. It's quite
Yep.
liberating. People should try it out sometimes and stop acting like they know it all.
Are you going fishing soon,
I
Bobby? We want to see.
No, fishing not. No, not so much. I actually wanted to fish in Kopangan in Thailand, but that didn't work out, unfortunately. And around here, I don't really have any family members that are fishermen. All of them are butchers or hunters. Therefore, first things first, I'm gonna start with a chicken. Yeah, that should be somewhat easy, and then work my way up. Yeah, go from
Uh,
there.
in Hawaii, I got a little like within the first week of me going back to the animal foods. Um, I went to my friend's property and he has these pellet guns, and he shot
Mm,
these two doves that were just chilling there. And I helped him prepare them. There's not much to do. You basically just rip their feathers off and rip their head off, and then you get like a little fillet that's like the size of a
mm,
tennis ball.
not much meat. Yeah.
No, not much meat. They were good, but I got a little bit of that carnivore food processing going on there. That was pretty fun. Throwing the meat on the skillet before it's even before the meat's even cold. From the
Yeah.
bird, the live bird. Gung Fu said, "I hope you guys can talk a little bit about taste sensitivity, especially when eating raw meat and tuna, etc." So, what do you say about that, Bobby? You can handle more stuff than I can, really.
I do not think that I really understand that question. What does he mean with the sensitivity? How?
Mm.
In terms of being grossed out whilst eating raw fish? Is that it? Or what exactly do you think he means?
I want to call. I don't know what he's asking exactly, and Gung Fu, I hope that you follow up on that. But I have some raw tuna in the fridge that my buddy caught last week, and
Right.
but it's very gamey actually. It's not like tuna you're going to get if you go get sashimi. Even if you get the same type of ahi tuna, it's going to be different than how that meat tastes. Yeah, it has like a metallic taste, exactly, nickel taste. That's
For sure.
yeah.
For sure.
Because the first thing I did was
Yeah.
chop a big piece off, and I was like, "Oh yeah, sushi," and I was like, "Eh."
Not so much. Yeah, I ate some wild tuna as well, raw, and I have to say that there's definitely much more of a taste to it than sashimi. Sashimi, on the other hand, is frozen, right? It's shock frozen for at least a week,
Mm.
ideally, and then it is slowly defrosted. And with that, a lot of the taste just goes missing, which is quite enjoyable for many people because you enjoy more the texture of it, the lightness. But if you eat it in its raw state like so, it tastes much more bloody. It was quite shocking to me because I ate raw tuna first and then I ate raw beef. And I always thought that this raw meat thing will be gross, of course, because we haven't been eating raw meat. But I have to say that raw tuna is much more pungent, if you will, than raw meat. Raw meat doesn't taste like much.
Yes, I agree. Raw beef is like very mild. I mean, it's almost not
milky,
good to me because it's so bland. That's my biggest complaint. Bobby mentioned on one of his latest videos that he was interested in powerlifting. Did he mean the sport or just getting bigger doing compound movements? Thank you for the $5, Lester.
Yeah, for me, that is just getting bigger doing compound movements again. I do not plan on competing in powerlifting at all. I know my limits, and with all of my injuries, I do not see myself being at all in the position of competition there. So therefore, now I just want to get back to powerlifting, and I use it as a little excuse to get fat again because I'm done with the six pack, Drew. Really,
You're
I
done.
can't see it
You're like
anymore.
vegan vegetable police.
Yeah,
All
come
right.
again. Sorry.
You're like vegetable police, man. You're convinced yourself it's good to get fat.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I'm somewhat lazy, if you will, and I just saw it out of a mental perspective as well. That being on that low body fat percentage for such a long time as I have been is just counterproductive, and it really drains you out. It doesn't feel good. I think that my skin improvement goes hand in hand with the slight higher body fat percentage as well. So that helps, of course, to fill myself out again, to give myself a break, and it just feels right for me. I have to say, me coming from Europe here, I am naturally not that ripped. So I always have to force it. That is just what it is. I know that many black people, for example, you see that they're naturally ripped, naturally shredded. And for them, that is the body fat percentage that they want to be around all year round. Nothing changes much, even if they indulge in junk food. Me, on the other hand, I get fat quite easily. And therefore, I was always calorie controlling. And now I said to myself, I have to give myself a break again and let my body go a bit. I do that every 1.5, every 2 years. The last time that I did it was the end of 2017 as a vegan as well. Before my cut, I did a video on that as well. This is when I got pretty chubby, if you will.
I think that the way we can, I'm just thinking out loud here, but like,
sure.
I think the natural body fat percentage that people should be at is reflected mostly in their face. Like a lot of these, like you said, a lot of black people, they're just fucking ripped, man. Like the six pack is ripped. They're like almost bone ripped. And they're thick still, you know what I mean? And athletic, and they have energy and all this stuff, but their face is never sucked in or gaunt. You know, like even me right now, I'm getting to the point where, you know, like my cheekbones are still a little, I'm starting to look a little vegan almost, you know, and I feel like I could probably, bye Marielle, have a good day. I'm feeling like I'm ready to be done. Actually, I was going to announce today that at the end of this month, I'm going to go back to eating, where I'm going to be doing higher calorie meals. I'm going to be doing dairy again, and I'm just going to let my body get bigger again, you know?
Fill up, yeah. You have to do that.
I'm feeling
especially
small,
as white people. It is what it is. It's just our genetics. We naturally do not run around with such a low body fat percentage. You feel it in your strength. You will feel it straight away in your libido as well. So there's definitely an improvement there. But that's the thing, you know, I tried that, just to stay on the vegan topic here, as a vegan as well. And I got pretty fat for my standards. I have videos on that out there. And it didn't help at all. I didn't feel better at all. Quite the opposite. I was getting fatter. I was eating as many calories as possible, but my mental health didn't improve at all. My teeth health didn't improve at all. Nothing. Skin health neither.
Definitely
Quite
didn't
the
help.
opposite.
The gut health definitely didn't get better eating more to get larger on a vegan.
Exactly. No, not at all. So therefore, definitely, sometimes to give your body a break is a good idea. That's my plan. It was a super chat, right? Yeah, and then from there on, just concentrate on heavy compound lifts again and get overall stronger and heavier. Feels good, man. Eating 2 kilograms of meat every single day and lifting heavy feels amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. I wonder how I didn't do that for the last couple of years. Feels great.
Yeah, when I was when I was like talking about doing milk and eating rice every few days and eating like quite a bit per meal, I mean, I was feeling so explosive. All the systems were working really well, and I wasn't really gaining much fat. I was actually maintaining the same exact body fat as I had. The only difference was I wasn't losing body fat. So like I was basically always going to wear that little layer on top of my abs. And this past week, I've actually taken off of working out completely because I've had the little like costochondritis situation going on. And it's annoying, man. Like it's a very small injury. I can totally work out through it. It doesn't affect my max power or anything like that, but I'm thinking that I'm going to have to take time off eventually to let it heal, especially if I wanted to go do things other than body weight because of the power requirement.
For sure. I see a question here in the chat that
Yep.
asks me, can you talk more about the similarities between microdosing and carnivory?
Hmm.
Yeah, I can talk about that. I don't want to expand too long, otherwise Drew will get bored here. What
I'm
I meant by
also
that when I
a mushroom user, by the way.
cool. What I meant by that when I said it is that as a vegan, I didn't feel stable mentally. I felt quite depressed. Looking back now, I was pretty depressed actually. I was chronically inflamed as well, had a lot of pains, just instability, mood swings, paired with, yeah, anxiety, even, just anxiety, social awkwardness, and all of that. And therefore, when I microdosed psilocybin during that time, that fixed those issues to an extent. It definitely helped. So therefore, it gave me more stable mood, less mood swings, an overall feeling of well-being, if you will. So it improved all of those things, of course. But that is completely out of the window since I'm not vegan anymore. And on the carnivore diet, the mental clarity is even stronger. So therefore, there is no need for it. We actually talked about this with Arlise on the live stream, and we talked shortly about mushrooms, about other plant medicines, and that there is no real need for them since we're eating more ketogenic style. And I can explain it only as this. Those plant medicines are exactly that. They're medicines. So if you're not sick, you do not need them. Once I stopped with veganism, I healed up pretty quickly. And now you do not really need them to come into the same state. Simple as that. And this is how I see plant foods, quote unquote, nowadays as well. I really do not see them as food anymore. Listen, I do not have anything against carbohydrates. But all of those plants, they are medicine to a certain extent. They can provoke certain mechanisms in your body and cleanse you out or provoke something like an immune response and help assist with healing. But they're not food. I mean, let's face it. If you cannot eat one thing to that extent that you will feel nourished after that, then it's not really food. We're talking about steak, and you have only steak to eat, Drew. You would eat one steak, are still hungry, two steaks. At the third steak, you're good now, man. Like it's enough, right?
Yeah.
But try to do the same thing, try to replicate that with broccoli. It's impossible, and that is because it's not a real food. You can't eat a whole bunch of broccoli. You will feel horrible afterwards. And this is what I'm seeing there. If you cannot eat a good quantity, a nourishing quantity of a single ingredient, it shouldn't be considered food. I'm not saying don't eat it. I'm not dogmatic about it. If you want
Hmm.
to spice your steak up with pepper or something, yeah, go for it. But take into account that you cannot eat a bunch of pepper either. So therefore, that is not food. That is a condiment. It always
Hmm.
has been that way. That's all I can say about that.
All you're saying is it's not necessary basically based on the fact that you couldn't make an entire meal or lifestyle out of it.
Exactly. It's not necessary. It's just there for taste, pleasure. If you get a kick out of it, do it. But it's
Yeah.
not something that you require. Simple. Yeah. Somebody asked about high meat. Bobby and Drew, have you tried high meat? Have you?
No. And I don't I don't think I'm going to be going that direction anytime soon.
Yeah, I haven't
I
either, man.
understand the whole thing around it, but I mean
Uh,
things that smell like shit. I mean, I don't really understand why that's a necessary thing. Again, it's to me the high meat thing is similar to raw vegans who still do juice
mm,
cleansing. Sorry, raw vegans that still do water fasting. Like you're already doing the highest diet. Why do you need to go that
mm,
one little extra level higher? I don't really understand that. So if we're eating
mm.
mostly carnivore and that diet is the best diet ever, which I do believe it is, then why do I need this extra level special thing that takes 3 months in a refrigerator to create,
Mm.
which is in high meat? I don't really understand that.
Yeah, I do see what you say. First and foremost, I never tried high meat. The only thing that I tried is I had liver in my fridge, and after 1 week or so, it definitely turns bad. So it turns bad
Mm.
actually after a couple of days, 2 or 3
Mm.
days max. It was there for 1 week. It started stinking, and I
I
still ate
saw
it,
that. I saw
and I
that.
felt
So
good.
how was that?
Yeah, you said it, and I felt good. It tastes like shit, but it felt good. Aside from that, the question if we should eat stinky things, yes or no, we have a huge cheese culture, right? Especially in France, I saw that people eat blue cheese and whatnot. So therefore,
Mm.
to just discard it straight away and say, no, 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 we shouldn't, I'm curious about it because, again, people have been eating cheese forever. That is fermented, stinky, smelly, rotting milk, so to speak. Same
Mm.
applies to the meats and to the organs. I'm curious about it and I do understand where those people come from. And again, it shouldn't be your basis of the diet, but like a little extra supplement. On top of that, I'm interested in evolutionary practices, so to speak, or things that we've
Mm.
been doing in ancient times. And if you think about a mammoth or such a big animal that has been killed in the wild, it is practically impossible that the whole tribe just ate it up straight away. So therefore, if they were in a cold environment, yeah, sure, maybe they put it in ice. Who knows? Maybe they hang it and it dried. Yeah, who knows? Or maybe it dried out. But there is a big chance for it that it will rot. And those people have been eating rotting meat.
Yeah,
So
they're
that
gonna
must have
keep
happened.
eating because they're hungry.
Yeah, exactly. So therefore, I think we have evolutionary adaptation to it, if you will.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think that it has some application. I definitely is an evolutionary practice. I never really thought of that as a thing that we should
Mm.
maybe continue doing. I always just
I don't know.
I trust the body. Like if it wants more of this thing, like if you're some people are really into like that stinky cheese. By the way, I bought this like 6-year
Mm.
aged cheese from Whole Foods and I did not like it at
Mm.
all. So I was just like, I'm not gonna force myself to eat something I definitely do not enjoy. You know what I mean? That's my take on it.
Yeah.
It's like if
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
not enjoying it, why am I gonna
Yeah, I
do this?
get it. No, no, I get it. We suffered a lot with veganism. We shouldn't force
Yes,
ourselves to do
yes.
something that we
No
do not
more
like anymore.
suffering.
I get that. Yeah. On the other hand, I have to say that with the liver, for example, that I still do not really enjoy, but the effects are so tremendous afterwards that my body is seeking it. So
Yeah.
I get a day and I'm like, I would like some liver, but not taste wise. It is a
Okay.
bit counterintuitive. It comes from the gut area or from whichever part of my body that demands some liver, so to speak, but it's not because I would enjoy the taste so much. So therefore, sometimes I believe, especially after long periods of veganism, we have to introduce certain foods so the body can recognize them as nutrition
I
and
see.
then go
Yes.
from there. Yeah, that's my
Okay.
take on it.
No, that's good. And you really and I like I said, I've had this liver in my freezer for a while, and I only ate it
Mm.
one time. But I might have to break that out today and just get some in, just for fun and see because I am curious about
It's definitely
just
not for fun.
swallowing it down. Gung Fu says, I would like you. Let's probably wrap up on this question. Um,
Yeah.
I would like for you two to also talk about the different muscle building training you do. Drew's using a bodyweight program. Bobby's using more of a gym,
Mm.
but maybe better for another episode. Well, how do you feel? What do you think about this, Bobby?
Yeah, I mean, what is the question exactly? So that we are doing what we're doing, right? So you're doing
Yeah.
more of a body weight program and I go to the gym. Yeah, that is correct. So what I do at the moment is especially a recovery program because I tore my ACL, I tore my biceps. So all of that is a recovery of a sort and then paired with strength training, as I said, to recover the body and to rebuild the body. So that is what I am doing at the moment. But once I'm fully recovered, I will go back to martial arts and then I will use a more assisting weight training to that, more of a circuit and more of a powerlifting twice, maybe 3 times per week. So less of a bodybuilding approach. It always depends on my goals at the moment. Yeah, but at the moment it's more of a recovery type of training. I do not have any other goals than getting big and fat and enjoying my life.
Love it. I yeah, the only goals I have is to continue to enjoy working out. I'm putting together a program right now actually that explains how I eat from top to bottom and how I work out top to bottom.
Mm.
Again, I pride myself on taking these rather complex subjects like gaining muscle and gaining some performance and athleticism and putting it into a package where like everybody can do it and spend minimal time doing it. So that's what I'm developing as like a product that I'm going to be offering and selling to people through my viewership. So look out for that, guys. I hope to launch that by 5,000 subscribers. So for me, I mean, it's like, you know, you want to just be like a normal person, right? Like, I don't live a bodybuilding lifestyle, and I eat, you know, like I said, this weekend I was out drinking beer, and I'm sure Bobby's a little bit more flexible now that he said he's willing to be a fat guy.
Sure.
But
I enjoyed some rakia here, which is a native spirit. Absolutely.
And it's nice to be flexible. It's nice to be able to go out to dinner anywhere you want to go. And of course, the vegans will say this is you lack compassion because you just want convenience. But man, there's so much to it. Anyway, so as far as calisthenics goes, it's a great process, especially if you are limited to only a home gym situation and you don't have a lot of money to invest in equipment and stuff like that. You can absolutely work every part of your body and get a very good physique. Now, is it going to be as efficient as working out in the gym? No, it will never be as efficient because you can isolate exercises, and there's a reason why bodybuilders do isolation movements.
Exactly.
Compound movements are great for injury prevention and for building overall mass. But if you really want to dial in and get the look, I do think that there is something to be said for going to the gym. Even like my shoulders were full vegan shoulders until I was starting to do dumbbell raises. You know, that's an isolation movement.
Of course. Yeah.
So that I needed to add some of that stuff on top of the calisthenics in order to start getting the shape that I wanted. And it's definitely paid off. So I'm happy about that. And in the future, depending on my living situation in the next couple months, I may be starting to go to the gym again as well. So
awesome.
So
aside from that, Drew, a personal question.
Yes.
I don't know if that is interesting to anybody else, but it is for me. So I'm going to be completely egoistical here. Are you coming to Europe now, or what is going on?
I'm broke.
Is that still on the menu?
I will probably not be going as soon as I wanted to go. We were planning on going in July.
Right, yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But things are going good right now. So we will. It's potential. It's possible. It's possible. So we'll see.
Cool. If you make it down, we can definitely, collab and eat a lot of meat here on the Balkans. Going to show you around.
How's the prices of everything there, by the way? Is it like, is it reasonable?
Man. Cheap ass.
Is it?
No, it's cheap. It's it's like Thailand basically. Super cheap.
Oh, okay. I want to go.
Yeah. It's nice. It's really, really nice around here. Yeah.
Okay. On that note, shall we wrap it up?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think we talked about everything. I believe that this time around, even though you rather named the podcast, what was it? Let me read it again. The two men that destroyed veganism, right? I think we still were on our best behavior and quite nice and reasonable, at least.
Sure.
I think so. I know that the vegans will still disagree with us. I believe that we touched on a lot of interesting subjects and that we're quite respectful and nice to the vegans. And maybe that will open up the minds and will possibly, hopefully, give them the chance to come over and enjoy good health again instead of starving themselves in this modern day and age. People are inflicting third world diseases of starvation upon themselves, and they do not have to. And this is what we're here for. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's the foundation to me and Bobby's channel is like, we might seem like bad guys or whatever. And like at the end of the day, we pride ourselves in being healthy. We want to be as healthy as we can be. And we want to actually spread the health message. And if we just happen to think at this point that veganism is not the way, trust us, we wanted that to be the thing for us too. If that resonates with you, then great, keep doing it. But if you're hearing what we're saying and following our experience and our story, then please, like, you owe it to yourselves to do the things that we're talking about. We wouldn't be eating raw liver if we didn't think there was some benefit to it, you know? So again, Bobby, thank you for coming on the channel. I'm going to do a little outro with my peeps.
Was a pleasure.
And let's talk again soon.
All right, man. Thanks for having me. I will tune out. All the best to you and all the best to the viewers. See you guys.
All right.
Peace.
See you, Bobby. Okay. Great guest, as always. Bobby's perspective. Thank you so much again for coming into the channel, hanging out. Bobby's Wi-Fi is bad. I'm glad it like started working out at the end. You guys noticed as it got later, the Wi-Fi worked better. So I'm sure the people in the neighborhood were going to sleep or whatever. So yeah, you can all say goodbye to Bobby. So anyway, if you have any final questions for me, I'm happy to answer. I'll hang around for a few more minutes. We are approaching the 3-hour mark, as I like to basically end my streams around there. We got about 10 minutes to hang out. And it's getting a little late in the day. I don't know if I'm going to actually work out. Like I said, I've been giving myself about a week to recover. I'm feeling like I'm losing all my gains. Starting to get scared. I'm feeling weak. Drew, did you just add me on Snapchat? That definitely was not me. I do not use Snapchat. And I've also been here the whole time. Promise. Yes, the vegan assassins. I think that everybody that we know on YouTube or social media currently is going to eventually go back to the meat if they haven't already in secrecy. Oh. Yep, that wasn't me. I don't have Snapchat. I use Instagram. I use Instagram and YouTube. That's about it. All the other stuff is cool and everything, but yeah. Twitter is the one thing I would maybe go on because it's fun to talk shit to people and call them out. What about Joey Carbstrong? Should I do cooking videos? I'm about to go make a steak in a few minutes, actually. I'm probably going to go for an hour-long walk. I still want to chop off a little bit of body fat. The Candida med is go back and watch the video from about a month ago. It says Candida supplement. I do a whole video on it, and I have a link in there. Joey Carbstrong, man, that guy's definitely out of his mind. Yeah, at least a third is going to end up on the carnivore side. Let's do a little ab check, guys. I haven't worked out in a week. I ate all kinds of crazy stuff this weekend. I'm going to get fat like Bobby in Vegetable Police. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm thinking that... Yeah, I can show you how I prepare my food. I mean, it's pretty simple. I literally use Lowry's seasoning, sprinkle a good helping of that on my steak, and then I just cook that up. I did actually a little cooking demo in my Perfect Carnivore Day video if you want to go see that. Yeah, put it in a hot pan. Nah, cooking meat takes a little bit of talent, but you just got to know how your grill is, and it takes a little bit of experimentation, I would say. You got to know how hot your grill typically gets. You've got to preheat the grill always. I'm not a big pan fryer. Yeah, I'm going to definitely try the raw liver, swallowing it whole. I'm into that. Flat Stanley? Who's that? Hey, T Tribby, didn't our girl Vegan Deterioration just make a video about you? I've never heard of your channel. You should link your channel in here. Tiana, you got to get a grill. Come on. I tried to do just pan fry skillet for a while when I first went carnivore, and I was like, this does not working. Oh, Mark. Yeah, as a matter of fact, actually, funny you asked me that. I bought 4 New York strips last week. They were the ones on sale, and they were good. I don't know what happened. I think New York strip is more sensitive to grill heat. You have to cook it when the grill is very well, like very hot. You can't mess around with any of that, half preheated shit. I'm sure you can overcook it, but I'm definitely I've got my grill dialed in, man. I basically preheat for 20 minutes, throw the thing on the grill. I let it sit there for a good 2 minutes, flip it, let it sit there for a good 2 minutes. It gets a good grill mark on the outside. And then I keep flipping about once every minute or so for maybe 3 or 4 flips. So we're talking 2, 4, roughly 8 minutes on the grill total. And it comes out great. That's like a medium steak for me. I could probably pull it off in 2 flips after the initial searing, and it would be a lot more rare. But I'm not a huge fan of like super rare steaks. Sometimes it's just a little too chewy. I think with really high quality meat, it's better to go rarer, but when you're doing like the conventional cuts, I feel like it's better to just cook it a little bit more. It's got a lot more flavor that way, a lot more enjoyable. You can eat more of it. So I'm going to be experimenting with oven, like broiling, basically, because Elise's house in San Diego doesn't have an oven, but it doesn't have a grill and it doesn't have an oven. It's got like this little, it's kind of nice actually, but it's a broiling unit, like a little toaster oven, but it's quite large. It's a pretty nice unit. I cooked salmon in it this weekend and it worked really well. So it's like baking. That baked salmon I talked about in the Bobby interview where I said I felt like my head got a really calm feeling in it. That was from the baked salmon from there. Ooh, jerky would be nice. I haven't had jerky in so long. It's so expensive and it also has a lot of sugar in it. At least the store-bought ones. Alexander says, I thought you weren't supposed to flip so much. I thought you were just supposed to cook it on one side and leave it. I guess there's different techniques. That's only a few flips, though. And when your grill is super hot, you can't just leave it on one side. It usually burns. At least on my grill, I've got flames shooting up and stuff like that because it's got a bunch of oils and meat in there and stuff like that. It's flame grilled. My grill is well seasoned with old products. You prefer grass-fed blued ribeyes? Yeah. Bluing is good if it's a really high quality cut. Absolutely. Yeah, it's not so much. So they said leave your grill running a bit after you clean it off. That's actually what I thought was going on. But what's really going on is when I am about to cook, I always scrape off what was on there yesterday just before I cook. So now that fresh stuff from the actual bars is now in the briquettes and it heats that up. So I couldn't figure out forever why I was actually getting so much flame. But it's because I do it like that. But you have to wait till that stuff is hot anyways in order to even scrape it off. So it's just whatever. I actually like the flame coming up and touching the meat a little bit. Gives it a bit more browning on the outside in a quicker fashion. Just don't let it burn too much. I'm not too sweating the blackness and all that stuff. I'm not. Whatever. Again, guys, we're going by how we feel. When I eat steak like that, I don't feel bad. I feel good. I like it. Vegans like grass-fed grass. All right, guys. I think we are about to wrap it up. And we're going to get on with the day. So I thank you all for coming. Thank you for all the donations. Again, like I told you guys, I'm going to be releasing a program that will encompass the way I eat and the way I work out, specializing in home workouts in a very compact time frame so you guys can get some gains, some results without even leaving your house with like $100 worth of gym equipment, exactly what I do. And I hope that some of you guys tune into that. I may attach some coaching along with it so that there's like a one-on-one situation where we catch up and I hold your ass accountable. But anybody can do this. You can have a full-time job and do what I do as far as the working out and stuff like that. Very simple. Yes, good. Home gym is even better. I'm envious of that. Thank you for the love, guys. Really organic. Just want to stop by and say hi. I got to run errands. Keep up the good work. Hope you get a hold of Dr. Gundry. Thank you for reminding me. I need to get a hold of that man. All right, guys. We're cutting the stream. Thanks again to Bobby. Thanks again to all you who have shown up. Appreciate it. Take care. Have a good day.